We are live here on a Wednesday night. I just published a video 30 minutes ago, Jack. So if you want the inside scoop, I predicted about 30 ago. You probably haven't even had a chance to watch that video. I said, look, let's connect some dots here. Jim Harbaugh stayed there for 12 plus hours at the Chargers facility yesterday. This morning, reports come out that his second interview today, apparently, was canceled with the Atlanta Falcons. And then the blog boys are putting out, Michigan's negotiating a contract. Harbaugh's back in Ann Arbor for meetings, NIL meetings, recruiting meetings, staff meetings. And then a few hours later, Diana Rossini and some ESPN people, national people, Bleacher Report, The Athletic, etc. say that's not true. Harbaugh's still in LA, he's still there right now. And I told you in the video from about 45 minutes ago, we published it 6:30 Eastern time, that Harbaugh, let's connect dots here. If he's still in LA, 12-hour plus interview yesterday, his wife there the entire time, from what we understand, canceling the interview. And then what happened with these Zoom meetings, I said, let's connect some dots. The most likely scenario here, in my opinion, is if those Zoom meetings are the only thing that's truthful that the Michigan blog boys put out, the local media, is that that means that Jim Harbaugh is signaling that he's taking this job, and I would guess that those calls are likely calls that were letting them know of his decision. Now, I hope that Jim Harbaugh is back in Ann Arbor in the next day or two and does a farewell press conference, make sure he can talk to the team, etc. But I'm guessing tomorrow morning we're going to have a Harbaugh Chargers press conference as he has accepted the job. We'll get all the information that we have for you as we get the contract information. If he's taking anybody with him, whatever comes out, we'll be live as long as you guys will have us. It is. Jack, we ready? We ready, baby? We ready? Jack says he needs a second. We're going to start off this portion of the show. I'm going to do a quick cut. We're going to be a structured show, but keep your comments coming. Light up the comment section because we're going to take as many questions as we can. Use hashtag Michigan. Those questions will go right to the top of the show. It's not vodka, but it should be. Let me get a sip of water. But we'll stay live. I'm going to do a structured show. We're going to put this part up on the channel later, so if you want to come back at all and kind of relive our instant reaction, that'll go up on the show probably. 30 or so minutes from now. How about now, youngest Harbaugh? I don't know, Jack. I think you might be the coach. He's not young Harbaugh anymore. He's just Harbaugh as far as this season is considered. It is the Michigan Football Report for James Yoder, for Jack Latteray. Let's get it going. I am your host, James Yoder, Michigan Football Report, and maybe LA Chargers insider. Breaking news here: after 9 seasons and 1 national championship, Jim Harbaugh has left the University of Michigan. A sad day indeed, but very bittersweet. He got Michigan to the top of college football, the best 3-year run of his coaching career or playing career, the best 3-year run that this program's had in over 100 years. It's certainly in the modern year of college football, and frankly, it's the best 3-year run of any Big Ten team in the modern era, at least in the last 50 years of college football. First person to put it out there, Michigan man himself, Adam Schefter. Breaking: Jim Harbaugh is leaving Michigan to accept the head coaching job with the Los Angeles Chargers. A source tells ESPN the Chargers get their man while the national champions now have a head coach opening. I wonder, has there ever been a team that won the national championship and their coach instantly left? I know, obviously, Pete Carroll and Nick Saban did it, but Carroll was around for at least 2 or 3 seasons after the last title, and I think Saban, when he was at LSU, was at least 1 or 2 after that 2003 national title, maybe even more than that. But the breaking news here: Jim Harbaugh off to the NFL. So some things to consider. We'll talk about all the details we know, but I want your one-word reaction. Give me your one-word reaction on how you're feeling right now. Harbaugh off to the NFL, Ohio State, making all kinds of moves in the transfer portal, putting big bags of cash in front of guys for NIL, etc. Mine is, it's bittersweet. I'm also bummed. If I had 2 words, bummed, but bittersweet. I wish Jim Harbaugh the best, and maybe I'll become an LA Chargers fan. I'm open. My fanhood for the NFL is open. I kind of was raised a Cleveland Browns fans, but they stunk so many years. It is what it is. All right, let's continue more as Jim Harbaugh has left to become the Chargers head coach. Now the speculation is going to come: who will be Michigan's next head coach after Rich Rodriguez left with a losing record, Brady Hoke, I think, with barely a winning record, and then Jim Harbaugh, although he struggled at certain times against Ohio State, is now really the best, I think, good argument there, was the best coach in maybe program history, at least up there with Bo Schembechler in the last 100 years, Fritz Chrysler, Fielding H.O.S., and others prior to that. And as Harbaugh is going to take this Chargers job, we are going to speculate on Jesse Minter, Jay Harbaugh, and the next Michigan football head coach. But I do want to tell you guys about Prize Picks, the sponsor of the Michigan Football Report. It's the easiest and fastest way to play daily fantasy sports. You just pick more or less on player stats to win up to 25 times your money. I'm keeping it simple this week, right? For the conference championship games in the NFL, I'm just picking 2 players, right? You can pick up 2 up to 6. You pick more or less on the stats that Prize Picks shows you. I'm going Justin Tucker, more than 1.5 field goals for the Ravens against the Chiefs. And then how about the Chiefs' Travis Kelce? I'm going more there, right? I like more, as it feels good to say more. Speaking of more, Jack, Sherrone Moore, I'm going more than 64.5 yards for Travis Kelce receiving yards against the Ravens. It's the best daily fantasy sports app. It's free to download. You get a $100 deposit match when you use promo code CLNS. That's promo code CLNS. We're going to put that in the live chat right now. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Get up to a $100 first deposit match. I don't play daily fantasy historically. PrizePicks has changed the game for me this season. I've been using it every single week. Thursday Night Football, Monday, Saturday College Football, Sunday, Monday Night Football, and now we just got the conference championships, but it'll continue on basketball, baseball, obviously the Super Bowl in a couple weeks. Get going with PrizePicks, PrizePicks.com/CLNS, code CLNS, $100 first deposit match. Keep it rolling here on the Michigan Football Report. We're live. You may be watching this on demand. My just general opinion on Jim Harbaugh and kind of how I'm feeling here is I want to say thank you, right, to Jim Harbaugh, right? Thank you to Jim Harbaugh. He got Michigan, and there were times 3.5 years ago, 2020 season, sometimes the 2019 season after that loss to Wisconsin, that blowout loss to Ohio State, not showing up at the bowl game, against really Alabama, the year before that, Florida. I was like, thank you, Jim Harbaugh. I said it back then, but it was more of a condescending. You got Michigan out of the Brady Hoke Richard years. You get them back to respectability, 10-2, 9-3, losing to Ohio State, but making a couple games close. Thank you then for getting Michigan back to where maybe like the Lloyd Carr last year or two. But I really want to thank Jim Harbaugh for coming back to Michigan and giving the school 9 years, taking a pay cut, taking shots on everybody, every fan base, sitting out 6 games this year from something he says he is innocent of, both the hamburgers and the Connor Stallion saga. And against all odds, he rallied a disastrous 2-4 team in 2020, completely flipped the script on this program, delivered a 40-3 3-year run, folks. That is absolutely unprecedented in modern history of Michigan football. 1 regular season loss in 3 years. Just think about that for a second. In college football, that's insane. I wonder if Nick Saban's ever done that, right? 1 regular season loss in 3 straight seasons. Obviously lost to Georgia, a heartbreaker to TCU, and then finally got it done this year, beating Alabama on the last play of the game, 4th down, and kind of crushing Washington, although there were times during that game where it was a little closer than expected. So best of luck. You won the Super Bowl, or you won the College Football National Championship trophy. You held that bad boy up, 16 days ago, right? 16 days ago, right? Two Mondays ago. And now go for the biggest trophy of them all, the Vince Lombardi Trophy, which you and your brother, maybe you guys go back to back, right? Maybe the same year with the college NFL. Maybe you in the NFL next year after he wins a second trophy this year. If you love Michigan football, no matter what, spam Go Blue in the comments. Let me know what you guys are feeling in the live chat. Let's light up the comments with Go Blue. I think this is, for some people, this is a dark day, right? It's a dark day in Michigan football history, but I think it's a day that should be celebrated. Jim Harbaugh should be welcomed back as a celebrated coach in the future. And I think everybody should wish him well with the Chargers. And hopefully, continues to prove the doubters wrong, bet on himself. So spam Go Blue in the comments. A lot of people saying fire Ward Manuel. Maybe, but I'm not sure if Jim Harbaugh was leaving his future up to Ward Manuel. This is clearly what he wanted to do once he got Michigan to the top of the mountain. Let's take a look at Michigan football coaches of recent years. So Jim Harbaugh, 9 seasons, and he really could have 3 more wins here because they didn't give him the 3 wins at the beginning of the season because he was technically suspended. The last 3 against Ohio State, Penn State, and Maryland, it was a program suspension, so it actually did not, those did count, so he does get the win against Ohio State. 86-25 overall. His teams went 89-25 overall, 60-17 in the Big Ten. All those games did count. Brady Hoke, though, 31-20, 18-14 in the Big Ten. How about Rich Rod? 6-18 in the Big Ten, 15-22 overall. Lloyd Carr, similar kind of overall numbers, very similar kind of percentage-wise to Jim Harbaugh. Gary Moeller got fired after his 5th season, a couple Big Ten championships his first couple years, but his last 3 he was out of there with 4 lost years. Prior to that, so Harbaugh had 9 seasons, 86-25 overall, 1 national championship. He's got something that Bo Schembechler doesn't happen. Clearly, Schembechler coached a hell of a lot longer time, 21 years, 1969 through the 1989 season, 194, 48-5, right? That was when it was the Big Ten, Big 2 and Little 8 in the Big Ten, right? Ohio State, Michigan, and everybody else. there's stretches where Bo Schembechler won every single game for like 4 or 5 seasons in a row in the Big Ten, except for Ohio State, right? Maybe won one year, lost 2 in a row, won another one. So I think that Harbaugh can be right up there, certainly with the Mount Rushmore of coaches, back with like Fritz Chrysler. I think there's an argument that he's a better coach, that he had a better career at Michigan than Lloyd Carr. So you could say him and Bo Schembechler, 1 and 1A at the top of the Michigan coaching pyramid the last 80-plus years. Let's just say after Fritz Chrysler and Fielding Yost in the 10s, the 20s, the 30s. Since then, kind of post-World War II, last 80-year era. Is Jim Harbaugh the best coach Michigan's ever had? You could say he's accomplished the most, right? 3 straight wins over number 2 Ohio State. Only 3 appearances in the college football playoff. Obviously, slanted because he was the head coach for 9 of the 10 years of the playoff. But nevertheless, national championship, beat Alabama, beat Nick Saban, left Michigan with 4 straight wins over Ohio State and Alabama combined. I guess it would be, 7 straight wins over Alabama, Penn State, and Ohio State combined. That's pretty good. So I'm going to say yes at this point, that Jim Harbaugh is the best coach in Michigan football history. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. I tweeted this out the moment it happened, and you'll get all of the latest and greatest on the Michigan football program as Sherrone Moore or someone else is named head coach, future Jesse Minter, future of Jay Harbaugh, and others. But follow me on X/Twitter. Let's X together. It's at James Yoder. So Jim Harbaugh's gone. We were prepared for this, Jack. Congratulations to us. We kind of had things getting going live. We did a show 45 minutes to an hour ago where I told you, I said, hey, look, let's read between the lines here. It looks like he's going here, so brace yourself. But nevertheless, Adam Schefter broke the news first. Say again, Jack? I knew it for you. I'm sorry. Scheduled to play the Baltimore Ravens next season at SoFi, so Jim Harbaugh's new stadium, which will officially be a matchup between John and Jim Harbaugh. How about this one from the Chargers? If you're a Chargers fan, welcome to our new Chargers channel. I think they said we're going to go live on our new Chargers channel. They're trying to turn me into the Chargers Report insider. We got 2 people watching over there, so congratulations to you 2 Charger fans that are watching, so appreciate that. They say, who's got it better than us? I think it's a low blow. If I was Jim Harbaugh, I'd rescind the job. So that's what the Chargers are tweeting out there. But what's next for Michigan? Who's next for Michigan is, I think, the real question, right? The conventional wisdom says that Sherrone Moore is going to be Michigan's next coach, right? So will he be named without a national coaching search? Based on what's happened with Alabama, right, they've lost so many transfer portal players. Like a starting center was kind of a bum anyways. Caleb Downs, a second-team All-American, SEC Freshman of the Year, and quite a few other players have left there. And, if your head coach leaves, now Michigan players have a 30-day window to transfer to anywhere they want. And that's going to be a tough pill to swallow. So if you have a 2 or 3 or 4 week coaching search, right, you don't get a chance to also re-recruit your own players, not to mention not being able to recruit anybody else's or anything like that, recruits or potential transfer portals from other schools that lost their coaches. So I think it's probably the best move, at least in the short term. And, we'll see and hope that Sherrone Moore is the right guy long term. His career, offensive coordinator and offensive line coach this season, co-OC the last couple years, 2021 with Josh Gaddis, Gaddis, and then last year with Matt Weiss. Tight ends coach from Michigan from 2018, 19, and 20, and then tight ends and recruiting coordinator at Central Michigan for 4 seasons, 2014 to 17. Prior to that, he was at Louisville as a tight ends coach for a couple years. For 3 years prior to that at Louisville, he was a grad assistant, and prior to that, he played at the University of Oklahoma for a couple seasons prior to he transferred over from a community college. So 2 seasons at Oklahoma, 06-07, and played at Butler Community College while being a grad assistant at Louisville, like I mentioned, at the 2009, 10, and 11 season. So there's Sherrone Moore. 4-0 record as Michigan's acting head coach. But I do want to ask you guys to subscribe to the channel while you're watching. If you're watching live here on Wednesday night or on demand later on, subscribe to the channel. We're at 31,000, about 30,100 or so subscribers. It's youtube.com/Michigan TV. We'll put it eventually in the link in the live chat, or just right below the video. Just hit that subscribe button if it's not grayed out and check marked for you that you've got a subscriber. Keep growing this channel because we're still here, even though Jim Harbaugh has gone on to the NFL, back to the NFL, where he coached 4 years, 2011 through 2014. Now, Sherrone Moore, right? Kind kind of things turned around, I think, when he moved to offensive line coach in 2021 season. It really turned around, right? The ground rate offense, it was apparent from game one. Game two, they ran over what was at the time a good Washington team, and they continued on. Hassan Haskins, Blake Corum, a little bit of Donovan Edwards, a little bit of J.J. McCarthy that year. That coincided with a remarkable turnaround for Michigan football. He's got a 40-3 record, right? He's got a 40-3 record as offensive coordinator and co-OC at Michigan, and a 4-0 record as Michigan's head coach, right? He beat Ohio State, he beat Maryland, he beat Penn State, and then he was the head coach for like the second game of the year, whichever one that was, Bowling Green, I think it was. Just 37 years old, right? He'll be 38 here in about a little over a week. So happy early birthday to Sherrone Moore. Awesome record as co-OC and offensive coordinator as by himself, co-OC. He has been at the helm, Jim Harbaugh's right-hand man, the only coordinator that's been there all 3 seasons. But how do we get here, right? It's really tough to kind of think about how we got here. And I do think that if Harbaugh is going to go no matter what, sure. But don't say a week and a half ago that you're going to put a contract in front of the man's face. Michigan really messed up by not making sure they're like, 7 years, $15 million a year, 6 years, $15 million a year, whatever the charge they're making, $1 million extra to that, and give him whatever he wants, because the downside is probably much worse than the downside of losing him than the downside of giving him the wrong contract. Last week, right, just 9-10 days ago, I guess it was like 10, 11, 12 days ago, I am working on getting this man a new contract. I promise you that. That was Ward Manuel at Michigan's championship rally. So how do we get here? Now, Jim Harbaugh, John Beilein, the baseball coach, whose name's Batchich, forgetting at this moment, Mel Pearson, all left either on their own accord or fired for off-the-court issues, off-the-ice issues. Then Red Berenson retired under his name. So you might lose the best coach or one of the 2 best coaches in all 4 major men's sports in the short tenure of Ward Manuel since 2016. So it's kind of like his 7th, 8th year at the helm. So let me ask you guys this question to wrap up this portion of the show. We'll keep it rolling live. Great Ward Manuel as Michigan's athletic director since 2016. Very high highs, Frozen Four, a college baseball World Series championship deciding game for men's, Frozen Four, a NCAA tournament Final Four and national championship game, a national championship in football. A lot of accolades, but losing your top 4 or 5 employees, I think, is down. So I'm going with a C, maybe even a C- on this one. Let me know A, B, C, D, or F. And if you're watching here on the Chargers channel, we launched a new Chargers channel. Subscribe. Maybe we'll put out more content. Maybe it'll be me. Maybe we'll hire somebody else. Maybe Jim, you can be young Harbaugh. Just swap out your hats. YouTube.com/Chargers TV or at Chargers TV here on YouTube. We'll put that link in the live chat on both. But if you're watching over that channel, feel free to subscribe. If you're a Chargers fan watching our Michigan Fit channel, head over there and we'll start putting some content, as Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers might be one of the most talked about teams in the NFL going forward. All right, so that's our cut. That'll go up on the YouTube channel in a matter of minutes. Former producer and Coldridge Stroud stan, Stroud Boys leader Jeremy Chuggs is going to help us out in the back. So what up, Chuggs? Thank you for doing that. Put that up on the channel. So let's focus on the audience. Let's focus on you guys, the audience. I'm going to pour one out, Jack. So if you want to tell the people how they can join the show with the Hard Hat Club Super Chat, I'm going to pour one out here, guys. $5 Super Chat from Thomas Crawford. Thank you, Thomas Crawford. We'll put that up on screen. Pouring out for Jim Harbaugh. Maybe a little. Whoop, whoop, I'll do a little bit. See that? Whoop, whoop, whoop. There you go. A little bit. Pouring beer on my office floor. No big deal. Thomas Crawford. Thank you so much to the super chat. $5 super chat. He says, "Bye and thanks, Coach." And that's really all I can say. And thanks so much to Thomas. It's all I can kind of just come to is how can you be mad at Jim Harbaugh? Because if he would have left last year, I would have been pretty mad, actually, because with the team they had coming back in 2023. He left after 2021. I'm like, this is all you got? You waited 7 years, and all you got is 1 win over Ohio State, and you're going to jump at the first sign? And maybe he would have had he got the job, got the offer, which turns out that maybe it wasn't the case. But he just won a national championship. You did it by beating an undefeated Ohio State, by beating an SEC championship LSU, by beating a 14-0 I think there's only like 3 or 4 teams and 2-3 teams in college football history that have beaten a 14-0 team. One of them is this year's Michigan football program, right? I think the last one, at least I can remember, is 2018 Clemson, right? They beat 14-0 Alabama in the national championship game. So just a lot of things as things will come across. And Jack, keep things a loop as things are as things are coming across our desks. So when we know
Schefter just tweeted, and everyone can hear me as well. Young Harbaugh here. Schefter just tweeted that the Chargers are giving Harbaugh a 5-year deal. Don't know the money yet, but it's a 5-year deal.
Okay, so less than the reported 6-year deal that us and others have talked about. I'm guessing, Jack, because he's got the same agent, Don Yee, right? Same agent as Sean Payton, is that it'll be in that range of, like we said last week, right? $16 to $18 million is what they were putting out there. I wouldn't be surprised with some sort of performance bonuses that, at the end of the day, that it creeps up towards, 5 years, $90 million, which would be $18 million a year, or even 5 years, $100 million. Maybe not just on general purpose there, but maybe even thinking about what performance bonus or something like that, or longevity bonus could be for this program. So Jim Harbaugh, he gone. I'll tell you, at the time, one of the happiest moments of my life, just happiest feelings outside of when I was 16 years old, was when Jim Harbaugh took the job, right? December 30th, 2014, after one day removed from coaching his last game with the the 49ers. It was a Sunday afternoon. Then Monday flies to Ann Arbor and accepts the job on Tuesday, if I get my memories correct. And that was an exciting day. And what just happened 16 days ago is what I hope will be the outcome. I hope for maybe more than one. That was how crazy it was. That's how much of a unicorn, how much you thought Jim Harbaugh was the next Nick Saban, the next Urban Meyer, what Dabo Sweeney became later, or Kirby Smart, multiple national champions. And I think had he stayed, he would eventually got it done. Maybe won another one at some point at Michigan. I don't think maybe this year, but you never know. Had he put all the focus the last 2 or 3 weeks, or hell, even the last 2 or 3 months into the future as much as he did, winning and then moving on, maybe Michigan gets a better transfer portal quarterback or something like that, and this team is ready and locked and loaded to be a top 3 or 4 team in 2024. If you guys want to join the Hard Hat Club, I had to send back the commemorative helmet because it was not the right type. So waiting for a commemorative helmet. So appreciate it. We had about 10, 12 people who were on the Hard Hat $100 Club. That's going to go up. Jack, show them where you sit. I think we're going to hang it up right behind Jack. We're going to commandeer this one of these studios. It's the Michigan Football Report only studio. So go a little bigger, Jack. Maybe full screen so you can see more where you're at. There you go. So we're going to hang quite a few of these helmets. I think that's going to be the new home for the ones we don't mail off to people. I've got quite a few to mail people. But if you want to be on the end screen, see where Jack is, it's going to kind of hang right there, the commemorative one that no one can get on. We'll have about, I think it's 11 or 12 people that super chatted $100, wasn't it, or 50? It was 100. It was 100, but it was 50. But now you can get on the existing hard hats that we're going to hang around it in the coming days. And do we have the end screen, Jack? Do you want to show that for the people? New end screen is about 2 or so weeks away, right? February 8th is the target day, maybe a day before, day after, we'll see, after National Signing Day, that we are going to do the new end screen. This has appeared on almost every video, like 95% of the videos since we rolled it out last year, or this past year, 2023, in April, I think it was. New one, anyone who super chats a $10 will get a hard hat sticker, be in the office for eternity, and you will be on the end screen where your name will be as a producer for the next 1 year of shows. Check it out. There you go. So immortalize yourself on our end screen. It can be, it's your YouTube name, but if you did want us to put something else, like, your full name, whatever, we can do whatever you want. You, of course, have to let us know. We've got probably, well over 100 people on there for this year, right? So it's going to be an awesome one. Probably have to scroll up like one of those, when a movie's on like TNT late at night, it's 10:59 and 58 seconds. I got to run through the entire credits in like 10 seconds. But nevertheless, grade Ward Manuel as an athletic director at the University of Michigan. Give me an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F. I'm going to keep looking through. Whoops, that's the wrong screen. Keep looking through your live comments. So keep the comments coming here on the show, and we'll start taking questions. By the way, if you want to have your question on the show, you can super chat like we just had a moment ago, or you are more than welcome to. I got the wrong doc up. That's why I'm like, where is this doc, Jack? Sometimes you got so much going on, you don't even know what the deal is. Where was I? I can't remember. So A, B, C, D, F for Ward Manual. as we are going to speculate. I'll start looking more at your credentials. Asian Posh, I know you, Ohio State fan, daughter, Ohio State marching band. Asian Posh says, wow, hi James, wow, Harbaugh gone. Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet, right? It's bittersweet because he did accomplish what we hoped to. There was plenty of ups and downs off season, pretty much every year over the last 6-7 years, maybe outside of 2020. Although still then it was like whether he's going to get another contract or they're going to fire him. Off season drama. Harbaugh was the top talking point, and I actually think this is a bad thing for college football because it's like Tom Brady and Peyton Manning leave the sport at the same time. They didn't, but had they, it's like the two biggest talking points in college football, at least in my opinion, are Nick Saban and Jim Harbaugh. I think, right? I don't think Kirby Smart's that interesting. Ryan Day, no one cares about him. Like, Ryan Day's got like 230,000 Instagram, Twitter followers, where Jim Harbaugh's got like 2.5 million. I think it was just boring coaches. Brian Kelly doesn't really move the needle as much. It was Jim Harbaugh. It was people at the top of the sport, and it was Nick Saban. And now they're both gone. A couple weeks apart here, and Jim Harbaugh will go on to the NFL, while of course Nick Saban will go on to retirement. We got a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. From is the first timer. Third time, okay. The last laugh podcast. I'm just going to pull up my screen. It says it's all good. Bring on Coach Moore. Beat Ohio State and Penn State with no head coaching experience. Yeah, I mean, look, that was surprising that he was able to do that. Because it's not easy, right? It's not easy to step in when it's not your team and it's not what you have going on as a coach, and the team is trying to rally around you while they're trying to understand why their coach isn't there. So you got to give Sherrone Moore a ton of credit for what he was able to do over that 3-game stretch. Because remember, it was like a 20-hour window. They had a noon game coming up with Penn State, and they found out at 4 or 5 o'clock while they're on the plane going to Happy Valley that Jim Harbaugh was not going to be their head coach. So it is what it is at this point. I'm happy that Jim Harbaugh won a national title. I wish him well, and I hope that Michigan makes the right decision. No one, transfers. There's not a ton of attrition where everybody decides to leave. Will Johnson, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Rod Moore, anything like that. Other NIL teams, LSU or Ole Miss coming in with big NIL offers for these guys, because now there's a 30-day window where these players can all transfer. Just some more thoughts here. How about Jesse Minter? I think he's the best DC in college football. Might be the best DC in all of football, right? He got passed over. He was one of the final 2 candidates for the Eagles DC job last year. And boy, did they make the wrong choice, because they fired their DC 12 games into the season. I think they make Matt Patricia the interim DC, which is what are they doing there? And now Jesse Minter came back to Michigan for a second year, led them to a national championship. And the Eagles probably wish they had locked him up last year, because his kind of counterpart in this defensive scheme, Mike McDonald, former Michigan DC, has now got the Ravens. Have you seen this thing, Jack? The Ravens have beat 8 9-win teams. I think it's 8 9-win teams by 14 points or more. It was 36 over the 49ers, 28 over the Lions, 20 over this team.
Well, I mean, they had a 2-week stretch where they absolutely pummeled both the 49ers and the Dolphins, who at the time,
the
49ers,
10-2 or something like that,
the
right?
49ers and Dolphins were the 2 best teams in the NFL at the time, other than the Ravens. And when that happened, everyone was like, oh no, the Ravens are for real here, and I don't think they're going to lose another game this season. And here they are in the AFC Championship and the clear favorites to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure. And you never know if they dominate the Chiefs. And I think it's going to be a 17-point victory. That's what I put. I think it's very similar to, and I know this is kind of cliche to say, but I think this Chiefs-Ravens matchup, it's Michigan-Ohio State 2 years ago with Stroud, right? And Mike McDonald 3 years ago even, that they're going to be able to take them down. And I think it's 31-14 or something like that, 34-17. If they beat the Chiefs by double digits, they beat the Texans by, 3 scores, or they go to the Super Bowl and win that one by double digits, you could be saying this Ravens team is one of the top 5-10 teams in NFL history, right? They're making a point because of the level of dominance that they've had, especially these last 5 games. And if it continues to the playoffs, what a coaching job by Jim Harbaugh, Mike McDonald. So Jesse Minter's options, right? He can stay at Michigan. I'm going to tweet this back out. I'm going to make sure people know we are on YouTube, so I'm going to put this out right now. So if you haven't followed me yet, it's at James Yoder. I'm going to put out the link here to the YouTube video, the live show, so everyone knows that may have missed the hubbubaloo of Harbaugh going to the I keep wanting to say San Diego Chargers, right? It's not the San Diego Chargers. It is the Los Angeles Chargers. But it's funny how you think about with Jim Harbaugh is that I understand the Justin Herbert thing, but you can make an argument that he's not a top 7 quarterback in the AFC out of 16 teams, right? We already said Lamar Jackson. We, of course, said Aaron Rodgers, who didn't really get to play, but he's in the AFC. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, right? Then Coleridge Stroud, Lamar Jackson, and then who was else was I thinking of that was missing?
You've got
Deshaun Watson.
You've got
right?
Deshaun Watson. You've got Tua in the Dolphins. You've got
yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, who's been
I
pretty
about
good.
Him, right? You can he's not even a top 9, right? In certain circumstances.
Anthony Richardson comes back, and the Colts could be pretty good too. I mean, I'm not saying that Herbert's worse than like an Anthony Richardson or Trevor Lawrence, but the AFC, I mean, you said it yesterday, the AFC is not the conference you want to go to. You want to go to the NFC.
Yeah, it seems that the NFC is a lot easier to compete, to win. You've got quarterbacks, and these are young quarterbacks, right? I mean, Joe Burrow is 25, 26, right? Trevor Lawrence is 25, 24, 25. Patrick Mahomes is, 27 years old now. Lamar Jackson's 27, 28 years old. These guys will be around for 6-8 years. Aaron Rodgers is the only one that might have a year or two left. You can make an argument. You can go to the Washington Commanders, have all kinds of cap space, have the number 2 pick in the draft, get a quarterback, and what has Dak Prescott proven, right? Jalen Hurts looked good last year. What's he proven this year? The 49ers have Mr. Irrelevant, last pick in the draft as their quarterback. The Seahawks, they don't know what their quarterback situation is. So there's a lot of opportunities in the NFC to, Lions, Jared Goff. The Rams didn't want him. The Rams have the quarterback, Matthew Stafford, who's, again, 36 years old or so himself. He doesn't have a ton of time left. So I think Harbaugh maybe made the bad decision. If he wants to win a Super Bowl, you're going to have to basically go through this generation's, in some ways, 6 straight AFC championship games. This generation's Tom Brady. He's there every single year, win the division every single year. And I'll give Jim Harbaugh some credit if he's able to do it. Though I think there is a possibility, and a decent one, that we could be sitting here or elsewhere in 3 years, almost to the day, 2-3 years from now, saying Jim Harbaugh has been fired as LA Chargers head coach. That he just couldn't get it done. They went 8-9, and then they went 6-11, and that was it. Or they had one season in the middle, they popped up to 10 wins, and they dropped back down to 5-12, something like that. And here we are.
I just want to say a little bit about Minter, and it kind of goes off the point that you just said about Harbaugh. Does Minter want to go to the NFL? I get that it's like potentially an upward trajectory, better job, but like we just saw today that the Dolphins and their defensive coordinator Vic Fangio parted ways, and
after 1 year,
and the Dolphins' defense was pretty good,
and they were ecstatic last year when they got him. I mean, Will, our former host of the Dolphins, here we got a show, YouTube.com/Dolphins News, I think it is. He was freaking out in celebration, right? And by the way, Vic Fangio, maybe he could be Jim Harbaugh's defense coordinator, right? Who was his coordinator at the 49ers? Vic Fangio. Woo!
And the interesting thing is, like, now we don't want to speculate or anything, but does that mean that there's like drama that we don't know about? Because I don't understand why, and everyone in the office today was talking like, why would the Dolphins fire or part ways with Vic Fangio?
Maybe they found out that he interviewed with Jim Harbaugh.
Maybe. I don't know, but
that'd be a nice parting gift from Harbaugh. If he's like, hey, stick around for 1 year, get Sherrone, off the ground, and then a worst case scenario, I'll hire you in 2 years at the Chargers, or my brother will, right? One of us will. So
so it's like, does
$10 coming in from Tim Exley? There you are, Tim Exley. Keep going, Jack.
Does Minter really want to risk that? He's got stability at Michigan, unless the defense is to take an absolute nosedive. He's got stability there. Do you really want to leave for the NFL? I just don't know if I would make that decision.
Tim actually coming in. So Tim, I'm pretty sure, although it was a hazy day, Tim bought us drinks in Houston, right? That was the shots. I'm pretty sure. So Tim, yes, memory serves me. So thank you for the drinks again. We had an Irish car bomb, a courtesy of Tim. So thank you. Tim says, thanks, Coach. You guys the best 3-year run ever. Thanks to you, James and Young Harbaugh, for all that you guys do. Missed you in Houston. Yeah, it was a bummer. We saw a lot of people. We missed a lot of people too. What an experience that game was. That just exciting, and it was awesome. And players were awesome at media day. The team played awesome. You just couldn't ask for it. And I told you this a couple weeks ago, is if Michigan hadn't won a national title this year, I would fear for the future of being a fan of a Michigan football program, because if that's not a national championship team, I don't know what a national championship team looks like. Because if you can have two deep at every position, if you could have an offensive line that 6 guys could get drafted in the NFL this next year, if you give the best quarterback in program history, the winningest quarterback percentage-wise in college football history, right? 27-1. The winningest running back in college football history, minimum 20 starts, right? 26-0. Blake Corum. If you, the best, the number one prospect maybe in the 2025 NFL draft, Will Johnson. Maybe the two best, obviously with Chris Jenkins, a 3-man interior lineman combo that is unprecedented in Michigan football history, maybe Big Ten football history. The only position that wasn't like, oh my gosh, this team's unreal, was wide receiver. And they had 2 longtime starters in Roman Wilson and Cornelius Johnson. You've got a first-team All-American tight end projected by ESPN in Colson Love. If that's not a national championship team, if that team couldn't get it done, I don't know when Michigan would ever win the national title, because that would just have even the losses deflated you, but so much more losses. Like, well, when are we gonna have this team again? Like, this is Alabama's best team ever kind of level of everything had to come together at once this year. Right guys came back, right quarterback, right time, and it was the right season. And Michigan is your national champions. And Jim Harbaugh heads off to the NFL. At least as far as I know, going back as far as I can remember, maybe you go back to Jimmy Johnson or something like that, but I don't really remember which year. You could say that Jim Harbaugh, I think, is at least in the last 30 years the first national championship winning coach to not return for another year at his school and go off into take another job. $20 super chat coming in from Cody Mumford. Bang! We owe Tim we do owe Tim a spot on the helmet. Now we owe Cody 2 spots on the helmet. Here's what Cody says: "Is this the only time I'm not okay with being right? I'm worried about what players with the portal and who we hire. If it's or can we build a team? Can he build a team? We need to keep Minter at all costs. Why is Ward still RID?" I think that's gonna be a question for a lot of people. And there's been some talk and rumors out there trying to get this thing open. I might just have to rip it. The new got a new roll of stickers. A lot of people mad at Ward Manuel, and I think rightfully so in some regards, because he has let the top coaches in program history in football, basketball, baseball, and hockey leave under his watch. Short tenure, 7 or so academic years. I think that Sherrone Moore has probably known that this is likely going to happen if he's named the head coach for over a year, right? I bet last year at this time, him and Jim Harbaugh were talking that, hey, we're going to name you, coach. This is what we need to do. And I would think that he's got enough of the Harbaugh playbook to keep it rolling for at least a few years, like David Shaw did at Stanford. And it kind of probably comes down to like what it looks like long term, right? Can he recruit at the highest level? Can he retain players at the highest level? Can he get an NIL program off the ground better than Jim Harbaugh did? And can he hire coaches, right? That's the thing that Jim Harbaugh had definitely at the end, and we'll see how it goes in the NFL, is Harbaugh hired over the last 3 seasons a superstar staff, recruiting, coaching, defense, offense. And Cody Mumford, I'll get you a sticker here. You are a superstar member of the Michigan Football Report. You're obviously already on the hard hats. You're already on the current end screen and the next end screen, but you continue to be a legend here on the Michigan Football Report. The date is the 24th. Did it for Kobe, Jack. Did it for Kobe. Although I think the 3 or 4 year anniversary of Kobe's death is coming up in the next couple of days, isn't it? It's in February sometime. It was right before Corona started, so I know that. Cody Mumford, you are on there one more time, man. I got looking balder than I am because I got my hair's all messed up because we did a show already, and I didn't really recomb my hair, so just disregard that. Maybe a little bald, but I feel like this hard hat mushing my hair down makes it worse than it is. And there we go. Our guy Tim won as well. Stephen Mers, my man Mers, is up in there. Let me get him a sticker as well, but I want to get Tim Exley 11 TIMEXLEY immortalized forever. Tim 124-24. Michigan, kind of ironic, Jack. Michigan won the national championship in 2020. The 23 champions, but they won it in 2024. Tim, I'm going to put you right over top of the Michigan logo because that's a good spot for you as we're filling up on this helmet. You see yourself right there, Tim Exley. Boop. right there, top of the Michigan logo. And let's go one for Stephen Mers. How many points did Ohio State score against Michigan this year? 24. So just a lot of coincidences there. My man Mers, Stephen Mers, let me get it. That's my man Mers on social media. Let me get you a sticker, and then I'll read your question. Jack, so me and Mers here, we were DMing on. So Steve, you got another sticker? You got several. We were DMing on Instagram or Twitter. 3:30 in the morning after the game. Right, my sister and I were up just like talking crap. We're whatever at the Airbnb, and I'm like, Mers, I'm not checking messages anymore. I'm too drunk and too on cloud nine. Just FaceTime me, and we didn't really exchange phone numbers at that point. And sure enough, he FaceTimed me like 5 minutes later. So me and Mers FaceTime for about 10 minutes after the game. He says, 3-person Spider-Man pointing web. So the Spider-Man meme, it's like the same thing. And now they're all doing the 3-way, right? It's Ward Manuel, a starving hyena, and my ex-girlfriend. Why those 3? Hashtag no loyalty. F that girl, right? F her, right? No loyalty. Serious question. How much do you blame Ward? How much blame does Ward deserve for this? You, the man, Yoder. Thank you so much, Steve. I guess he certainly deserves blame. And I would guess that his tenure is going to come to an end pretty soon. I would be very surprised if Ward Manuel is Michigan's athletic director when the Wolverines take the field in September or August 31st, I guess. If he is, I would say that his announcement for when he will be gone will be within that season. So my timeline is that there'll be an announcement he's going to step down, right? He's a Michigan man, so it's going to be done with dignity. End of the school year, right, which would be June 30th this year, something like that. Or he's going to step down during the football season, and he will take over for his tenure end into the 2025 calendar year. Jeremy Chuggs, former producer of the show, how's it going? I saw you put on Twitter. You better delete that. I'm going to send the people for you. If I saw you put that Harbaugh thing with the Batman gif, don't. Yeah, but there's no sanctions coming. There's no sanctions. Nothing's going on. Yeah, right. We're not against Harbaugh. We're with him. We get $20 super chat though from Ashley Lawson. Oh my heart. Sad day in Michigan. Wish Jim well, but we'll miss him. We get that cut out, Chugs. We got that out. Got it. Yep. Okay, Jeremy says, so this is Jeremy Chuggs, getting Jack's camera so people can see you. We're coming around mine. You guys remember Jeremy. He says, you can make the offer yourself. Yeah, all right.
Jim. Oh, it still hasn't set in, Yoder. It still hasn't set in. To wish Jim Harbaugh the best on future, journeys, endeavors, and to celebrate the Natty. If we get a $100 super chat in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to do a boot, which is 3 beers in under 10 seconds. Guaranteed, or I'll do another one. Oh, $100 you get a pom-pom from the Natty? I might send in a Yeah, I might send in 100 if that's the case.
There it is. All right, so 5 minutes. All right, 5 minutes. Jeremy will do that. Ashley Lawson, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Jack, Ashley's part of the crew, sent you to Houston. So thank you, Ashley. We were just talking about you today. So we're glad to see you here at the show. And what a sad day. What a sad day. And appreciate all the support, Ashley, since October, November that you have put in the show. I mean, Jack was able to go to Houston for 4 days with me, all kinds of support, put all the content out that we could. I hate when I take this off and it's all messed up. It's like going down my neck. But Ashley Lawson, $20 super chat. I got you a sticker there, Ashley. You're on the helmet one more time. And we have a $5 super chat from Lord Buddy Bear. Thomas Crawford, put that one up first. That's fair. Whatever one you want. Just put them up there. Let me pull this one up. Let's see. So, Lord Buddy. Matthew Peterson. Jim Harbaugh. So, let me go to Thomas's first. Sorry. He says, where is Michigan currently number one, currently national championship. Now, I would say if the quarterback position doesn't change, meaning that it's going to be someone that's currently on the roster, I would say Michigan will start the preseason polls probably like 7th or 8th, I would say. Now, because they still have all the talent coming back. And like, just think about these certain years, like Alabama, Ohio State. Like, you didn't really know who was going to be their quarterback this year. Like, you're telling me like Jalen Milroe was more proven than Alex Orji? Not really. So you're kind of banking on there. But with Harbaugh factor, you never know. But I think just in general, Michigan Pulse, defending national champions, they're going to get people to put them in the top 5 because you see some of these voters, they're just not smart people, right? So that's kind of what I was thinking. So I think Michigan will be my preseason prediction, Jack. Put this down. We'll revisit it in August. My preseason prediction is Michigan will be ranked 8th in the first preseason poll, as long as nobody that's currently on the roster, that's a starter level player, transfers. Now they've got this 30-day transfer window. So, but I think they'll be number 8. But of course, they are number 1 right now. Our own Matthew Peterson, he says Jim Harbaugh drafts blank to the Chargers. So the Chargers have the number 5 pick in the NFL draft, right? Because they stunk this past season. They got Justin Herbert. Who will the Chargers draft this year? I don't know. You could say maybe an offensive lineman from Ohio, from Penn State, or from Penn State, or from Notre Dame. You could say Marvin Harrison if he drops to 5. How about J.J. McCarthy? I don't know, Jim. J.J. McCarthy. Right? So you take Herbert, you trade him to somebody for a first-round draft pick. You get J.J., you get another first-rounder, and you draft J.J. McCarthy somewhere, either number 5 or later on. Pearson, I'm going J.J. McCarthy. I am saying J.J. McCarthy never has a head coach and a quarterback won a higher percentage of their games, minimum 20 starts, than Harbaugh and J.J. Why can't it continue into the pros? That's my guess here. I'm going off the wall. Harbaugh's going to get rid of Herbert, bring in J.J. McCarthy. Hell, maybe
I was about to say quarterback competition between Herbert and McCarthy.
Well, you would get the draft picks for him, but hell, they've got 2 seconds and 2/3. Maybe Blake Corum and J.J. McCarthy come in there. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. The Commanders said that. That's right. The Chargers have a first, second, third. They have 1 through 6, and they got 2 sevens, I think. So brutal. Lord Buddy Bear coming in, and Chaco Bear is there in your picture, right? It's tough to say, but he says bad news for Harbaugh. He's got to deal with Max Crosby twice a year. What up, Chugs? Very true. Very true. And maybe more than that, no offense, Lord Buddy Bear, as Mitchell Rance told us this week, if you say no offense, I can say whatever you want, I want. And I said no offense, so it's not offensive. I can call you a son of a gun. No offense to the Raiders, but they're an excellent franchise, of course. But how about Patrick Mahomes, right? You got to deal with Patrick Mahomes. This is equivalent to, honestly, it's very similar. This is Nick Saban taking a job with the Dolphins in like year 7, year 8 of Tom Brady. It's the exact same thing. And he lasted 2 seasons, 500-level coach Nick Saban was, back to the NFL. Now, there's something about me just saying, I said, Jack, back in 2019 when John Beeline took the job at the Cleveland Cavs, I put a tweet out there. Go check like May 19th, May 20th, 2019. I said, can we just name an interim coach for 2 seasons and then John Beeline just is back at Michigan head coach when he gets fired from the Cavs inevitably? It didn't even last 2 seasons. It was like half a season. Could Michigan just name Sherrone Moore the interim coach for 2 years and Harbaugh comes back? But I wouldn't be surprised, maybe in the future. I don't know. Jim Harbaugh said he wants to play as long as he can and coach until he dies, and he just turned 60 years old last month. So maybe Jim Harbaugh is maybe Michigan's head coach. I know it's not very likely, but 2-3 years from now, Oklahoma's looking for a coach. Who might they turn to? Their former player, Sherrone Moore. Sherrone Moore takes that job, which is kind of the downside of not having an alum as your head coach. Jim Harbaugh, 2 years, 3 years, the Chargers, didn't work out. Comes back, 63 years old. Boom. He's the next head coach of the Michigan football program once again. If you guys want to get on the show like Buddy Bear and others, Tim Exley, Ashley Lawson, etc., Stephen Mers, and who else we have? Cody Mountford, that's right. You can use hashtag Michigan to get on there. It pops you right to the top of producer Jack's feed, or you can get your super chats answered here on the show. Jack, anything they're saying out there about on the streets about Harbaugh's contract, what the years are, anything like that? Cheers to you, Jim Harbaugh. Didn't happen, Jimmy, but do you want to grab me one of these bad boys? No sponsors. A cold boy? Yeah, see if there's any that if there's none in that short fridge there too, maybe put bring me one, bring 2 in there for later if we need them. Yeah, so grab them from front if there's none in there, and put 2 in the small. What's that? Ooh, yeah, canceled. So what's gonna happen here with this roster, right? is Will Johnson going to look around? I hope not. Is Mason Graham, is Colson Loveland going to go for a pass-friendly offense? Because they've got the opportunity, and maybe this is just their easy way out, kind of like Jim Harbaugh. Hey, we accomplished what we wanted at Michigan, but things have changed, right? We're no longer the head coach. As I'm seeing, I'm checking out some of my my text messages, some tweets that have been sent at me, etc. I see this tweet out there from Joel Klatt. He says, if I was Michigan football, Sherrone Moore will be announced as the new head coach within the hour. No reason to delay. Stability is vital. And that's kind of what I hope for. And that's kind of what I expect. And I think the transfer portal rule of 30 days of open transfer portal is the reason why. Now, there is some chatter out there, Jack, that I saw that Klatt also addresses, is that the state of Michigan requires a 7-day equal opportunity job posting for any public job. So they've got to post the job on their website for 7 days. Now, I don't think that prevents Sherrone Moore from being named the interim head coach, even if it's like, give me a break. And he's acting and telling people, I am going to be the head coach. And it's just the most obvious thing in the history. Jeremy Chugg's best thing. We didn't get the 100 Super, but Jeremy, I tell you what I told Jack. I was sometimes one of these shows, it's people are wallowing in their misery. It's not necessarily we hired Harbaugh. It's Harbaugh's gone. So, we'll get there. I mean, last time we hit it, but we appreciate you. We appreciate that you're there. Yeah, next natty. But 11 months from now, yeah, we'll see you there. Right around this day, 11 months, right? 12 months. That's right. That is right. That's crazy. That's crazy to think about. 3 of the 4 playoff teams will be replacing their head coach. Alabama, Washington, he went to Alabama, and then now Michigan. Wild to think about that is kind of the case. Klatt says that this stupid 7-day posting per the state law caused them to lose players. They should vote everyone out, all of them out of office. Absolutely. So keep these rolling. $10 super chat coming in from Ohio State fans. We like her, so welcome. Asian Posh is the name, and then Doreen is how I know her on Twitter. A Buckeye who wants your team to be fine. Who wants a rivalry without both good teams? Good luck to Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. Beyond football, Jim and his bro John are good people. Yeah, I think a lot of people from different political aspects are kind of warm up to the Harbaughs based on not cowering to what the media wants them to say or what they want to say. They've got beliefs. Some are political. Jim Harbaugh was marching for anti-abortion rights, right? Or pro-life is more what he called this past weekend. His brother John's kind of come out with some religious-focused sayings and things like he said. And some people, a few years ago, that might have been something you couldn't say because you're going to get canceled. But now I think the tide's changed, and they're speaking their mind, and they're just, I think anyone who knows them over their entire lifetimes are saying they're good people, and they know what they believe in, and they're showing it there. So thank you so much to Doreen, Ohio State fan, but she's one of the good ones. Appreciate you supporting the show. First time super chatter for her, I would think, right? So let's get one. Darren, we got to do it for you. Ohio State fan, first time super chatter. Hail Tale to Doreen, the first time super chatter. Go Blue, and go Bucks for you. I'll wish you Ohio State a little bit of luck just for your $10 super chat and how nice and polite and engaging you have been on Twitter as well. What do you got, Jack? So Jim Camparanani, who's a Michigan State homer, right? He says college football is a sport, and sportsmen in general has a chance to improve with hashtag Jim Harbaugh. I only found, Jack, you only found this because you were searching for hashtag Jim Harbaugh. With Harbaugh out of the game, he's a dishonorable man, and his program was a disgrace to college football for the past 3 years. Let's do this, Jack. I'm going to put this in there. Roast this tweet. So Jim Camparani, total schmuck, tweeting trash about Harbaugh. Eric says, Yoder for head coach, not out of the realm of things. Go click that tweet I put in the live chat. Michigan State guy, Jim Camparoni, right, publisher of SpartanMag.com, just making absolutely ridiculous tweets, right? Their coach, Jack, was staying at the office until 2 in the morning so he could rub one with his left hand while his other right hand's on his iPhone. Yet that's your coach. Yet Michigan's coach, who is one of the most stand-up guys in all of sports, he's dishonorable, and his program's dishonorable. Maybe if he would have not won a national title, gone 5-7, and jerked one in his office to whatever her name is, maybe that's honorable to you, and probably is because you're a Michigan State guy and frankly, you're a complete schmuck. So there's the tweet in the live chat. Get in the comments. I'm gonna get in there as well. I don't like the word clown as much. Oops. You're an absolute. What do we think? I like absolute what? What do we think you have? How about this one? Do you have any idea how pathetic you sound? That one always gets them because you don't call them pathetic. You ask him, do you understand? Like, are you okay? Are you okay, Jim Camperonioni? There. Let's take a look at Sherrone Moore a little bit here, Jack, as we are here live on the Michigan Football Report. I haven't even looked at the audience. I'm not sure if anybody's watching. I'm not even sure if we have any likes on the show. I don't know what's going on, Jack. It's crazy. How many likes do we got on the show here on 119 likes? So if you guys can't like the video, put the show in the feed of more Michigan football fans. That's kind of what likes do on YouTube. They communicate to YouTube that, hey, this video is A-okay with me, and so YouTube will say, okay, cool. Well, there's about 50 Michigan fans that haven't seen this yet. Let's give it to them and see if they like it as well. So hashtag Michigan or Super Chat, you'll get on the show. We got a $5 Super Chat coming in from Joey Phipps. He says, what kind of chance does Michigan have against Ohio State in 2024, and do you think Jim left because he couldn't get an immunity clause? No. I think there's a chance that he could have stayed with a clause and a very aggressive plan from the Michigan administration, higher ups, Ward Manuel, Santa-Ono, Board of Regents, on NIL, on transfer portal, things like that, and a competitive salary, competitive pool for assistants. None of that was the case. So the immunity clause is probably just the last thing on that checklist. And I think the other part of the question was, what do you think of chance with Ohio State? They have more of a chance in 2024 than they did in 2021. That's all I can say at this point. And you might be saying, well, how can you say that? Why can you say that? Let's think about what team you had coming off. Think about this time in 2021, right? End of January 2021, what you thought about the going forward Michigan football team. Blake Corum or Hassan Haskins more proven than Donovan Edwards and Clell Mullings? No. Was Cade McNamara any more proven, right? He started one game, right, in which he got injured in. Was he any more proven? Maybe a higher recruiter ranking, any more proven than Alex Orji or Jaden Denegal? Not really, although you knew you had J.J. McCarthy coming in, so maybe a different story there. You had wide receivers replaced. Ronnie Bell, really the only guy coming back in 2021. What happened to him, right? He got hurt in the first game. So there you go. And then you've got all-American level players at tight end, 2 at the defensive line, 2 really talented players coming back on the outside. Linebacker transfers. You got a great secondary. 3 multi-year starter guys. Will Johnson, of course, Makari Page and Rod Moore. Keon Saab started 3 or 4 games this year. So I think that Michigan's got more coming back. Guys who know how to beat Ohio State. Now, that 2021 game was in Ann Arbor. This one's going to be in Columbus. And Ohio State is reloaded. But when I think about this game next year, I think it comes back to one simple thing. They brought more draft-worthy players back than any other team. I think like 15 or like 11 guys, I think it was, that probably would have drafted in the first 4 or 5 rounds, came back to Ohio State for a senior or a redshirt senior year. Only lost 2 or 3 guys early to the NFL in addition to their seniors. But here's what's different versus 2 years ago. One, their coach is still Ryan Day. And this isn't the Ryan Day coming off 2 playoff appearances and a 28 win over Michigan in 2019. Obviously, they didn't play in 2020. This is the Ryan Day that's lost 3 straight games and just put up 3 points against Missouri with all those guys, right? And then you add a couple transfers. The running back from Ole Miss. Okay, Ryan Day's, though, running there. You bring up Bill O'Brien? I don't know. I mean, maybe. And then Will Howard. I said his name wrong. Cade Howard, the quarterback from Kansas State, was transferred as a senior because he was going to lose his job to his backup, Avery Johnson. And so you've got the future backup quarterback at Kansas State, who's been good at some times. But I would have thought Cade Howard, if he was saying, hey, I'm transferring to Michigan, would have been a better fit. This is no different to me, right? Cade Howard transferred to Ohio State. It would be like if Cade McNamara had transferred, let's say, to LSU right after Joe Burrow or something like that, right? A high transfer to USC, right? If Cade McNamara had transferred to USC with Lincoln Riley, he'd be like, Cade McNamara going fun and gun, throwing 45 times a game? Like, that doesn't make any sense. This is a crazy mismatch. And so that's what Ohio State's coming back as their starting quarterback this year. And so if you get that same quarterback, that same head coach, I don't think the rest of the positions matter. If Michigan can shore up their quarterback position, put out a serviceable product, doesn't have to be high flying, doesn't have to be J.J. McCarthy. You've got the Don. You've got Colson Loveland. You've got receivers. You might get one in the transfer portal. You might see some news on that coming up here. Maybe not till spring, but I think there's one guy that is rumored out there, a starter from another school. The defense is going to be, coming into the season much better in 2021. I think all in, it doesn't have, Aiden Hutchinson and David Ojabo on the edge, but it's probably got two better guys coming into the season in the middle of that defense in Kenneth Krantz and Mason Graham. Got the best cornerback maybe in college football in the past 5 years in Will Johnson. So a better chance, but the game's on the road. But as long as Ryan Day and Kate Howard are the quarterback and starting head coach and quarterback, I'll take whatever Ohio State has back, even if they just stacking transfer portal guys at every position. So thanks so much to Joey. Is Joey a first-time super chatter? How do we know that he is? Okay, there he is. Hail, hail to Joey Phipps, the first-time super chatter. Go Blue! There you go, Joey. First-time super chatter. Thank you so much for the support. We have one from Matt Shook. Matt Shook with a $20 super chat. I'm going to get you your sticker, Matt. You will continue to be a legend on the show, a producer. I'll read your question here. Let me get you a hard hat helmet sticker. Matt, your last name is kind of, I think it's fitting. I'm shook, right? I'm shook that Jim Harbaugh is no longer the coach because I thought this was the place he wanted to be. I thought that his parents lived next door to him, Ann Arbor, the street he grew up on. All it made a lot of sense, but I guess the whole, hey, he wanted to. So, Matt, because we're running out of space on this helmet, I'm putting you right there in the beginning. You're covering up the Michigan logo. That's what we're giving for you. So right there, Matt Shook on 124. You got another hard hat coming, another sticker coming after the show, but we don't want to bore people with putting stickers on there. Having me watch me do that. Hey, brother, I'm heartbroken. I was hoping for a dynasty for a while, but I'm putting my faith in Sherrone Moore. Same. I didn't hear, but who went with Coach Harbaugh to L.A.? I'm destroying a bottle of Jack now. Appreciate the super chat, Matt. Stay safe. Don't drive or anything like that. Stay at home. Don't do too much. Cut yourself a limit. But, yeah, it's okay to drink your sorrows away a little bit when something this impactful. I mean, this is probably news. This is the second biggest news day in Michigan football history, right? Because it's the internet and it's TV. It's 424 hours. Like when Bo Schembechler left after Lloyd Carr retired, it wasn't nearly as big of a media circus. Michigan was at the top of college football like they are now. So the prior biggest day in Michigan football history from a news perspective was when Jim Harbaugh accepted the job, right? A little over 9 years ago, 10 years as far as the calendar goes, December 30th, 2014. So enjoy a bottle of Jack, but, make sure you make it into work tomorrow or whatever you have going on a Thursday.
So the Chargers just made it official. Harbaugh to the Chargers. They have a big article about it, and Harbaugh is quoted in the article, and this is his quote about Michigan, basically.
Excuse me. He says, "My love for Michigan, playing there, coming back to coach there, leaves a lasting impact. I'll always be a loyal Wolverine. I'm remarkably fortunate to have been afforded the privilege of coaching." This sounds like ChatGPT wrote it. Coaching at places where my life's journey has created strong personal connections for me. That's Jim Harbaugh. Quote release from his new employer, and that is the San Diego, a.k.a. L.A. Chargers. I'm going to scroll the internet because, we've been live now for over an hour or so, Jack? I can't remember. About an hour and 4 minutes. And so anything that's happened since then, I haven't been able to keep on top of it. Oh, my gosh. What is this? I'll look. Wow. You should toss that up on screen, Jack, if you can. It's that photo. It's pretty good. Chargers tweeting out 5 minutes ago. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We've agreed to terms with Jim Harbaugh to be our head coach. Jack, I'll toss up the new profile picture. Funny enough, I have that photo. I screenshotted off the TV or something like that. I've got that photo somewhere in my phone. I have it pop up myself. Is it a GIF? Oh, GIF. Okay. So they're saying, let's see, their quotes from their owner says Jim Harbaugh is football personified. I can think of no one better to lead the Chargers forward. from their kind of owner, son of the old owner, I guess owner and chairman of the board, Dean Spanos. His brother, John Spanos, you don't build a resume like Jim by accident. You don't do it by yourself. You need a team, blah, blah, blah. Nothing really here I'm not seeing. Is making sure that I'm not missing anything. Yeah, here's the profile picture of the San Diego LA Chargers. That is their new X/Twitter profile picture. Of course, that is from I think it's the TCU game from last year when they had the picture like I think the ref had the cam on it. Was with the ref cam? So they're taking. I think it was tacky to do the who's got better than us. I think that was tacky. I think Jim Harbaugh should have. Which one? This photo? Yeah, it's not bad. Let's see. Jim Harbaugh, former NFL Coach of the Year, 2011 Coach of the Year, took the 49ers to a NFC Championship game. His first season, second season to the Super Bowl, 4 plays from about the 10, 11-yard line to win it against his brother. Couldn't get it done with Colin Kaepernick. Go back to the NFC Championship game next year, lose to the Seahawks. Remember that last play of the game, Michael Crabtree and Richard Sherman going for the ball, Sherman batting it away. That was all she wrote. Seahawks down to the Super Bowl. 49ers losing. Then last year, it's kind of like a year in turmoil for Harbaugh. His last year in the 49ers, right? They went 8-8, and by the time the final game was being played, it was pretty much well known that he was not going to continue to be their head coach, and he would go to be the head coach at the University of Michigan. So not seeing anything in this Chargers press release on what Jim Harbaugh's contract will be, but it's funny. Doreen, if you're still watching, I just went up to Twitter. She quote tweeted someone putting a picture of Urban Meyer wearing a Michigan polo. We'll see. We will see. She tagged me in it, so you never know. Sarah Hubbard, the chair of the Board of Regents of Michigan, says we put so much support on the table and did everything we could to keep Coach Harbaugh. At the end of the day, we can't give him a Super Bowl ring. I hope he goes out and wins one and makes us proud. So, yeah, can't argue with that. Appreciate that. I see everybody in the chat. I see you, Ryan C., Joshua Layfield, Hot Wax 93, Asian Pastorine. Again, give me go blue in the comments. Michigan in the comments, hashtag Michigan. If you want Jack to put your comment on the show, it'll go right to the top of the queue, or you can super chat. EJ Holland, nemesis of Sam Webb, so a friend of a nemesis of Webb is a friend of mine, right? He says, it sucks to lose Coach Harbaugh, but I'm in good hands, so I'm not worried about that at all. That is Carter Smith, the 2025 four-star quarterback from Georgia that committed to Michigan about a month and a half ago or so. He said he is locked in no matter what. A lot can change before December signing day. A lot can change. But, I mean, Michigan was one of the first teams in on him. I would expect him to stick with them, but a lot of time, of course, because, what happens with Jim Harbaugh down the stretch, or who, Michigan's coaching staff in the stretch can really be a lot of different things when we go on there. Making sure I'm not missing anything from check out what Schefter's put out there. He says Chargers for the win. Yeah, F you, Schefter. He's supposed to be Michigan should quote tweet him or something like that somehow. I don't know. Good luck going 5-12 again, or whatever they went last year. So Sherrone Moore, heavy favorites. That's obvious, I think. I wonder if Harbaugh is the number one trending topic on X/Twitter/X. Yeah, I could see that. So top tweets right now, or top things. So number one, nationwide, or even worldwide, trending topic on Twitter is Chargers. Number two is AEW Dynamite, so wrestling. Number three is Sherrone Moore. All right, cool. Number four is GTAI, Mariah, AFC West. I think that's people get it, right? AFC West, Patrick Mahomes. Gosh, it's so tough to do there. Ann Arbor is number 8. Fangio is number 10, maybe related to Harbaugh. I'm not really sure. Minter is number 13. Ward is 14. And related to this, I think that's probably about. It's funny, the actual name Jim Harbaugh is not on there. But go ahead, Jack.
No, I just saw a tweet. It's from, we talked about him in the video earlier, Chris Ballas. It just says, report, Sherrone Moore is expected to be the next head coach of Michigan. Okay, thank you for something that we kind of talked about and speculated on.
Chris Ballas, the guy who literally said 6 hours ago, right? You guys share the video I put out 30 minutes before we went live. It was kind of bad timing, but I said two things. I said, expect this to happen. This sounds like connecting the dots, and I have a pretty good record connecting the dots. He's staying in L.A. for a second day, canceled with the Falcons, has meetings with people from Michigan but didn't make it the trip back. Sounds like he's telling his team, he's saying his farewells to his coaches, maybe some key players, and it's probably going to happen. We filmed less than 45 minutes later. The news was officially official. Ashley Lawson says, stop talking politics in here. I agree. No more politics. Any politics, you are canceled. You're deleted off the channel for good. Calvin Hobbs says no one's transferred till May unless they want to give up the entire semester. That's not true. They can transfer next week. These schools have 3-4 weeks after the semester starts where you can still enroll and catch up academically, or just only take like 1 or 2 classes for the spring semester. You can still go through spring football because it's not in season, and then take a full summer load this course load this summer. So they have to make a quick decision, but that's what this 30-day transfer portal window is intended to be put in. Certified supply chain professional says Harbaugh is leaving because of James Yoder. This is all James Yoder's fault. People could say that. I don't know. I think we're a big advocate of Harbaugh the last few years. He sent me a Christmas card last year signed by him. So I don't know, Jim. RB says, Ballas, bro, stop. You're embarrassing us and you. I mean, this guy, Ballas, has had a bad track record with Jim Harbaugh. I think he's got a source. He clearly has a source. $5 super chat coming in from Joey Phipps we'll get to here. But the source proves to me it doesn't give him good information, or he can't decipher maybe versus reality. This is the guy 2 years ago around this time said Jim Harbaugh is accepting the job for the Minnesota Vikings. Wrong. This is the guy 2 months ago says Jim Harbaugh is about to accept a long-term contract extension. Wrong. This is the guy just today says Harbaugh is in Ann Arbor, Michigan, putting in front of him a biggest contract in college football history, and feeling confident that he's going to stay. It was so far off from reality. Like, you can't be that far off whether you knew nothing about the situation, right? You can say, what do you think Jim Harbaugh is doing today? I don't know. He's in San Antonio visiting the Alamo with his family. That was as accurate as Chris Ballas' take today. And these guys have no real source sometimes because the other blog boys just parrot them. Like, they act like they have a source too, but clearly, if the source is wrong, everyone is. It's like when the tide rolls out, everyone sees who's not wearing any shorts. Cruel Moti coming with a $10, but Joey Phipps had the one first. Let me get to his. He said, why are Michigan's fans confident about Moore? Because he won one big game without Jim there. From an OSU fan, he seems like he's not head coach material. I mean, let me ask you this question. Why were Ohio State fans confident about Ryan Day? Sherrone Moore's got a better track record as a coach than Ryan Day did at that time, right? Think about this. Ryan Day had been offensive coordinator for Ohio State for 2 years. They didn't make the playoffs those 2 years, right? 2017, they did not make the playoffs. They lost to Purdue with him as the head coach. They lost with the offensive coordinator. They lost to Iowa with him as the offensive coordinator. And then in 2019, I can't remember. I'm sorry, that was 2017, 2018. 2018 may have been the Purdue one, but they lost a game. I'm forgetting who it was in 2018. It wasn't Maryland. I don't know, but they lost a game because they didn't come into a Michigan game undefeated. And that was that. And prior to that, he was the quarterback's coach of a 2-14 49ers team with Chip Kelly as the head coach. So Ryan Day didn't have this spectacular playing career. He came in, he had the right offense with Urban Meyer as his offense was kind of turning stale, and they put up together some big numbers in 2018 with Dwayne Haskins, RIP. But Sherrone Moore's got a more proven track record than Ryan Day did at that time. But then you go to other schools, right? There wasn't a time too long ago that the college football playoff had 3 of the 4 teams. I think it was 2019. It was Ohio State with Ryan Day. It was LSU with Coach O. And it was Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley. 3 different schools in the college football playoff within 2 years. I think Day was first year that they were in the CFP, that those coaches that were elevated from the staff. Day took over for when Urban Meyer stepped down. Lincoln Riley, coach in waiting. Then, Bob Stoops. And then Coach O was kind of like what Sherrone Moore was in some ways. They had a fired coach middle of the year, so he became the interim coach. Harbaugh suspended and elevated 2 years later, winning the national title. So, sure, that's one. The Michigan offense, right? I mean, he put a quarterback in his couple years as OC, et cetera, this year, and he put an offense together with J.J. McCarthy, who didn't have the biggest stats in the world, that went 28-1, 27-1, 28-1, 28-1 over the last 2 seasons. J.J. McCarthy 27-1 as a starter, 2 straight back-to-back undefeated seasons. This is one of the first teams in college football history, I think definitely the first in the last 50 years, that scored over 24 points every game, holding every team 24 points or under. So there's a lot to like about Sherrone Moore. What we don't know is how aggressive he will be in recruiting. What we don't know is transfer portal, and we don't know about how he can build his own staff. Cruel Moti, you're getting a helmet sticker, a hard hat sticker. You are continuing to be a Michigan Football Report legend. You will, of course, continue to be on our end screen as a producer. Make sure I'm spelling it right. Moete. The date is 1/24. You are not one of 24, Cruel Moti. You are one of one. get you back on this one. I might have to switch back to a helmet from this one had some real estate, but it's from a couple back in November, but apparently we didn't finish this one off. So I'm going to put you on this one right front and center, though, with the November boys. There you are. Cool Moti coming in with a $10 super chat. Let's see what he has to say here. Oops, that's going to fall. No, it's good. Job's finished. Thanks, Coach Harbaugh. Go Blue. Nothing more I can say to that. I totally agree with what he is saying. As we got breaking news here on the Michigan Football Report, we've been live for about an hour and 15 minutes. Michigan football is in search of a new head coach. Some chatter out there on the internet, which I think is true. We've heard for different positions in the past that state job, that it's got to be legally posted for 7 days. So all diverse candidates, right? Got to have a woman, got to have every single race out there, Jack, and you've got to have somebody who is, I don't know, has some sort of, issue that, everyone has got to have the ability to apply for the job before they officially name maybe Sherrone Moore the coach. But I do agree it's got to happen within the first day. Michigan kind of get past that a little bit by saying Sherrone Moore is the acting head coach until our 7-day window is over. They can legally say that. Anyone's able to apply, but, it's kind of ridiculous that this is what it's come down to. It should be state jobs other than athletics coaches, because Michigan football players now, starting right now, have a 30-day window. Michigan football players, they can transfer anywhere they want, no restrictions, even though the transfer portal is over. We got another $20 super chat. $20 super chat. Here we go. We're getting you a sticker. Thomas Crawford with a K. He says the future of Michigan football is in Coach Moore, the same way that NCAA football is in the sights of NIL. I'm not sure if I know what he's saying there. I'm not sure what he's saying. Is he saying NCAA football as a whole, or is like the NCAA the video game, or it's tough. I'm not sure if I understand, Thomas, but I certainly appreciate the super chat. I'm gonna get you your helmet sticker. You get 2 coming up. I'll get 1 right now. We'll get the next one after the show. Thomas Crawford with a K. 124. $20 super chat. That gets you 2 helmet stickers. That gets you on the end screen that we will roll up in about 2 weeks here, right after sign day. Thomas, I'm going to give you prime spot right there on that Michigan football logo right there. See that bad boy? That is you, Thomas Crawford, with a $20 super chat. I think Sherrone Moore can get done. I think there's a lot of history that says these interim coaches or these coaches taking over for a successful exiting coach, they usually keep it together for a few years. Now, some of them, David Shaw kept it together like 5 or 6 years before they kind of fell off at Stanford. Coach O kept it together, won a national title. Then 2 years later, they kind of fell off themselves. So it really depends. There's enough talent on this team to win 11 games next year. I don't think you're going undefeated. You'll live in 11 games to make the college football playoff. But after that, in 2025, you're going to probably, you're going to have a lot of guys who are unproven on that team, right? A lot of guys who will come up and make an impact this year for the first time, come back in 2025. You'll probably lose Will Johnson and Colson Loveland, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Derek Moore, and others, Josiah Stewart. So you might be replacing your entire defensive line after 2024. You might be replacing your entire three to 4 guys in the secondary, right? Makari Page, Rod Moore, Will Johnson. So 2025, you can see Michigan go 11-1 next regular season, make the college football playoff, hell, maybe make the Big Ten championship game, depending on how things shake out. 18 teams, no divisions. You might see year 2 be the year he takes a step back, right? You could say, oh gosh, right, there's a team loaded, and they didn't reload, they didn't do enough in the transfer portal, and so this team falls back to 7-5, 8-4 in 2025. Then it's like, all right, what are we going to get at Sherrone Moore? Then 2026 becomes a critical year, and on from there. But I do think that this team in the near term has a lot of things going for it, and I'm not going to be surprised if they are successful. By the way, Jack, tell people how they can get one of these. So Jack and my sister and myself and Brett and Chase, we went around NRG. I didn't want to leave. I wanted to make them kick me out, right? I'm like, I'm not leaving. I was going up to the security guards. I'm not leaving. You got to arrest me if you want to leave. But we're like, wow, people are just leaving the pom-poms around. And so we collected about 60 of them or so. So going forward, we got about 50 or 60 of these. I already sent one out to Brad Brutgerite. So Brad, keep an eye out for that one. Because he sent $10 in for a strand member. But I'm like, you know what? He was the first one to do it. I'm just going to send him one of these. $100 super chat going forward. We can give them away until we, raise the $5,000 or whatever it was, which would not cost would not cover even half the cost of the tickets for the 4 of us to go to the game. Let me tell you that. So if you want one of these from the game, official from the stadium, national championship. It's got beer. Oh, it smells like dirty beer from the floor, from the ground of a national championship game stands. $100 super chat going forward. Anyone who does it, we'll get your address and we'll send you off one of those. Let's get some Go Blues. Let's all spam the comments. Go Blue in the comments. Say again, Jack. Jack will be right back. Spam Go Blue while we're waiting for producer Jack, a.k.a. Young Harbaugh, to return. Breaking news, Michigan Football Report. Jim Harbaugh, no longer the coach of my Michigan Wolverines. It's a sad day, but I'm excited for what's next for this team. 141 likes, by the way. If you guys can, let's get to 150. 9 more likes ASAP, and then keep on there from 2 to 200 likes there. Rick Harford, I see you in the chat. Shy Son, I don't think an internal candidate sounds like the Rich Rodriguez era again. No, that would have been Mike DeBoard or Ron English after 2007. Rich Rodriguez stunk at Michigan, but at the time, he was the hottest coach in college football. 3 straight 10-11 win years. Had West Virginia right in the cusp. Their last game ranked number 1 in the country, 2 in the country. Going to the national title game, they lost to Pitt. $100 super chat coming in from Ashley Lawson. Ashley, we should send you one anyway, so I'm sending you 2, Ashley Lawson. I've got nothing but a big old Go Blue. Much love and respect to all you guys. MFer. Ashley, because of your continued support, I'll make sure we send you 2 of these bad boys, maybe even 3, so you can have a couple for your house. Give one away to a friend if you want. $100 super chat. The first member of the Pom Club, Ashley Lawson, coming in hot. Jack, make sure we don't forget, so send me that message after the show. Get one. Ashley, I've still got your address from when we sent you the Michigan football helmet, etc. So we will get it out to you ASAP. Couple pom-poms, 3 pom-poms, maybe, coming your way. Ashley with $100. I got nothing but a big old Go Blue. Much love to you, Ashley, and respect to y'all at the Michigan Football Report. Gives the heart emoji. Hope health is still going good, Ashley. Appreciate it. And I'm glad. I'm really happy to send. I probably would have sent you one of these anyways, had you asked, or if I would have thought of it. But $100 super chat confirms it, so we'll definitely send you a few of them. So you've got more, a couple, one in one room, one in the other room, and in case you lose it ever, something like that. Ashley Lawson, first member of the Pom Club. Let's do this, Jack. Can we get a 60-second shot clock? Can we get a 60-second shot clock? Okay. And on my cue, get it. So here's what we're going to do here. I just want to spam the comments, right? Just 60 seconds is fine. Let's spam the comments. Our chat rate spike. We do this almost every live show, so if you watched in the past, you should not be surprised. The most we've got is 41 chats per minute. That was about an hour ago, right? 15 minutes of the show, so kind of right at the peak of what was happening with Jim Harbaugh, announcing news, the audience building up. So let's see. Sam Strupa, Jim Harbaugh is a legend. Absolutely. Tavarius Cheatham in the same boat as Michigan fans. Roll Tide roll. So here's what I want from you guys. If you can, in a moment, we're going to put up a 60-second shot clock. Maybe toss it on the clock. Can you put it over there without it starting, Jack? So, no, don't start it. No, I said no. There you go, Jack. So when I say go, let's all just spam. So keep an eye on the chat right now. If he's like, shh, you want to do that? Like just type a bunch of letters? That's fine. We need to get at least 41 people to chat in that 60 seconds. Just enter anything. That doesn't matter. If you want to do it multiple times, you're an all-star. You're a real one. You're part of the squad. You're an MFer. If you want to do it 5-6 times like I just did there, more the merrier. But I need at least 41. But I think we can get to like 100, 150. I think we did 221 a couple weeks ago. 221 live chat. So are you ready? Join with me. Type anything you want. Type Go Blue. Type M. Type 1. Type 5. Type Bosa. Whatever you want. As long as you can. As hard as you can. As fast as you can. Let's blow this 60 seconds up. Spam the live chat. Now we'll give some shout outs here on the Michigan Football Report. We got Stephen McInnery. He says D+. The Vic is giving some A-Train some love. Hot Wax says Harbaugh didn't cheat. Thomas Crawford with a Go Blue and a super chatter too. Thank you so much, Thomas Crawford. Joshua Layfield, I see you. ICUD says Go Blue. The Vic says M. I'm just going to toss some M's in there myself, right? We're there. The Vic says Bosa. Thomas Crawford, Go Blue. We got a Go Blue from Alex Green. Thomas Crawford again. Rick Harford. Sam Strupa. Jonathan Blackman. Zaire back in the house. Zaire a bunch of times. Zaire, you're a real one. Multiple chats. That's how it's done, guys. Multiple chats. Marcus Graham, probably Mason's brother. Jonathan Blackman. Andrew Hockenberry. Mike Young. The Vic. Richard Iacocca. A-Train. The Vic. Jonathan Blackman. Jonathan is a real one as well. He's spamming it. Appreciate all you guys. Rick again. King, I saw in there. Vic, now they're coming in hot and heavy. Michigan Football Report, Michigan Football 2024. Without Jim Harbaugh, we're going to be fine. And it's because of the dedication, excitement, and just love of the program that folks like you and I have here on the show. Go Blue from Ashley Lawson, Richard Iacoca, Sam Strupa again, Leo Cortez. See if I get names I have. There's Mike Young, I see in there. The Vic, appreciate you again. I'll toss a couple of myself. And the chat rate spiked. It'll take a second. I see 97's the first number reported back. So the precincts are in. They've got to win. They beat the 41. Can we hit 100 when it updates here in a second? We will see. I will give a Yoder knows ball from the Vic. So let me take a look at the analytics one more time. I refresh it. Chat rate says 97 still. So 97, that's a good number. Good number, because we've been at 41, so we did 2.5 times the prior number. Bosa, go Blue, national champions. And that's the thing is, if Harbaugh had left and Michigan lost out to Washington, they'd have lost to Alabama. This would hurt so much more, but I can only thank him for his time as the Michigan football head coach. And I'm not sure if there's anything else you can say about it other than thank you. There's people are going to be mad at Ward Manuel, mad at Sant'Ono, mad at Jim Harbaugh. I disagree with all those people. By the way, chat rate 111, just updated. We got to 111. So shout out to you guys. We did a little bit better than we initially thought, a little late updating that on the show. Jack, let's kind of recap. Let's go talk about a little Sherrone Moore if we can. Just thinking about where Sherrone Moore is and could be with this team as I feel like I keep looking for the wrong document. I've got these show notes, etc. Make sure you guys like the video, by the way. I want to check what likes we have. We've got 147. Give me 3 more likes. 3 more people. Please like the video if you haven't. Asian Pastorine. I see you, Doreen. I see you with those O's. That's okay. It's okay. Michigan's the last 3 wins, but we're all friendly here. So Sherrone Moore's career. Let's take a look at this here. He's been with Michigan, so it's 6 seasons, right? 6 of Jim Harbaugh's 9 seasons. Prior to that, he was tight ends and coach and recruiting coordinator for a year with Central Michigan. For 4 years, 2 years as tight ends coach with Louisville, and prior to that, it was Louisville a couple of seasons as a grad assistant. I think it was 3 seasons as a grad assistant. Played at Oklahoma for 2 years. Played at Bryce Community College. Who's one of those guys. Probably didn't have the grades coming out, but I think he's been proven to be a pretty intelligent guy, smart guy. He's married. He's got 2 kids under 5 years old. I think what I read. He's 37 years old. He has 4-0. He's got the best record of any coach in college football history, Jack, percentage-wise. Right? Tied for the best record, probably with somebody. 4-0. He's undefeated. He's got to win against Ohio State, and that should count for something for the excitement. He should be able to sell that to recruits. He should be able to sell that to transfers. He should be able to sell that to guys who might be wavering whether or not they should look elsewhere now they've got the transfer portal opportunity in front of him. And I think you can point back to where this program changed, right? When he became Harbaugh's right-hand man, him and Biff Poggi, right, the new Charlotte head coach, was with Michigan for 2 years coming out of 2020. Mike Hart, Steve Klinkscale, and others. Ron Bellamy, of course. I think that kind of new group of coaches really changed the culture of this program. And Sherrone Moore's offensive line really, that and then the Ravens defense with Mike McDonald and then Jesse Minter, that offensive line is what became the identity of this program. So you can't just tell me he was an offensive lineman in college, he became the offensive line coach, then OC at Michigan, that he wasn't maybe not as big as Jim Harbaugh, but other than Jim Harbaugh, the most influential person in this turnaround, 40-3 out of the last 3 years. Tag that with Mike McDonald. Pair him then with Jesse Minter, and you've got a winning combination that just went 40-3 over 3 seasons, won the national title, beat a number 2 ranked Ohio State 3 straight years. And you might look at this and say, he's like, who in college football history as a offensive coordinator or co-OC? Point to me one. There might be one. I'm not sure. Point me to one who has a better win and loss record, 40-3, as Michigan's either co-OC or standalone OC. That's pretty dang good. So I know there's going to be a lot of doubters out there, but so many programs have gone to, named an existing coach, and it's turned out well. I would say more programs have named an internal coach, and it's turned out better, at least initially, 3, 4, 5 years, than coaches who go swinging big and try and get a coach outside the program. I mean, look, I think Coach O won a national title his second year. Well, LSU was in the second year with Brian Kelly. They didn't win a national title, right? So I think better there. Ohio State. You can make an argument they've been successful under Ryan Day, although not against Michigan. But how about Jesse Minter? That's potentially the next domino to fall here. is Jesse Minter. Whether or not he is introduced as Jim Harbaugh's new defensive coordinator, whether or not Mike McDonald, the defensive coordinator of the Ravens, he should be able to start interviewing for jobs after this Sunday's game against the Chiefs. Now, if they win and go to the Super Bowl, it's probably like 2-3 days where he can get interviews for head coaching jobs in the NFL. And there's a lot of programs, the Reds, the Commanders, maybe a few others, that have identified Mike McDonald as their top target. So he could get an NFL job. If that's the case, I think Minter's options are then going to be to go with Harbaugh to be the Chargers DC, or go to where he kind of got his beak wet, learn the game with the Baltimore Ravens. And John Harbaugh could be leaving a national championship team, Jack, as defensive coordinator or as DC, and going to the team that just won the Super Bowl, which would be kind of crazy if he did that. Think about the coordinators from a college football perspective. You have Todd Monken, who won 2 national titles as Georgia's OC, as the Ravens OC, and then Jesse Minter, who just went back-to-back undefeated seasons regular season, and beat Washington for the national championship. Every player for Michigan is going to have a 30-day transfer window. That's one thing you got to think about, and why I think Sherrone Moore and making interim coach, elevated coach from OC. I think it's more important than it was in yesteryear, right? When Lloyd Card left Michigan and announced he's retiring after 2007, Selena, is Sean Paul's asking if Ashley's name is Selena? I don't know. If Lloyd Card left after 2007, and it was like 2, 3, 4 weeks before Rich Rod got named the head coach, and you had a 30-day transfer period, you could have had a ton more players transfer. It could have completely devastated the Michigan football program even worse than it was, with guys like Ryan Mallett who transferred knowing that he had to sit out an entire year in 2008 before he could play in 2009 and 2010 with Arkansas. So I think that kind of puts some things in front of Michigan's football program to keep some continuity, keep the good times rolling, and you're going to save some money, right? Jim Harbaugh is making $11 million a year or so after all the bonuses. Sherrone Moore is probably not going to get that much. I'm guessing it's going to be a 5 or 6 year deal, about $6 million per year, $7 million per year, less than Ryan Day and James Franklin, but higher than the coach at Illinois, Wisconsin, or something like that. Probably around 5th, 6th in the Big Ten, maybe 6th, 7th in the Big Ten, depending on I don't really know what UCLA, USC's coaches make off the top of my head. What Washington's new coach Jed Fish is making. If I would guess, it'd probably be right in that range of what Jed Fish got. $6 million a year or something like that is what my expectation would be. If it doesn't work out after 3 years, okay, it didn't work out. They can go big for Hushman. And Jake, I heard a rumor today. I'm not sure if it's substantiated. Someone said, not going to say who said it, that, hey, maybe this whole Harbaugh thing is going to stretch out for a couple weeks. So John Harbaugh, they announced the week of the Super Bowl, John Harbaugh wins the Super Bowl, second one, he goes and fulfills his lifelong dream of winning a college football national championship. Boom, next head coach of Michigan. Unlikely that was true, but something made us think. That person may have been a source. I don't know, but it was an interesting thing. How about tampering, though? We told you last week, I think it was last week, but the source is that Donovan Edwards, Will Johnson, $500,000 or more offers from schools that might sound like Schmold Schmiss, even LSU, Mason Graham potentially as well. Will there be, while this whole thing's in flux for a day or 2, 3, 4, opportunities where someone just gets on the phone with Will Johnson and says, Will, when you left your college, come to Ole Miss, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Ohio State. We will guarantee you $750,000 the second you step on campus. $300 the first game you play, $450 as long as you play the entire season, something like that. Does Will Johnson have enough, personal conviction with Michigan himself in the NFL to turn down that kind of money? Because I don't think it's anywhere near what he's getting at Michigan. He might not even be getting $50K as far as I know. Although I think those turnover buffs selling on his website probably helped him. I'm not sure if that's distributed between the rest of the staff. So it's interesting to see kind of what happens. I'll ask you guys this question. Will you root for Jim Harbaugh to be successful in the NFL with the LA/San Diego Superchargers, the number 2 team in the city of LA? I'm going yes. I maybe I'm be a Chargers fan. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll be a Chargers host here on YouTube. I'm gonna look, Jack. I kind of forget what's our Chargers audience at right now. 3 viewers. Look at that. 3 viewers. 13 viewers. All right. I know we might have a video or two in there before that we made private, but hey, First video that's at least posted on the channel. Not bad. Not bad. 10 subscribers. There you guys go. I'm a Chargers insider. I'm not sure if you saw my Twitter bio, but I always, Michigan first, obviously. But I will give Jim Harbaugh. I'll root for him. Jack, let's talk about the team next year. So 3 players from Michigan were put on ESPN's way, way, way too early preseason All-American team. 1 on offense, 2 on defense. Colston Loveland, first team, best tight end in the college football, coming back according to ESPN. Then Mason Graham, first team defensive tackle. Will Johnson, first team cornerback. And of course, Mason Graham put there, and they're like the other guys in consideration. So it's possible that Michigan could have 4 first-team All-Americans next year. These 3 guys, Mason Graham, also, I think with a full season, injured last year for 4 games or so. Rod Moore is one of the best safeties in all of college football. So this is not a team that's bringing back like nobodies. They could have 4 or 5 first-team All-Americans, right? Not even counting what might come back on the offensive line, right? Under Sherrone Moore, the guys have been kind of waiting there 2, 3, 4 seasons to, wet their beaks, chomping at the bit to be on this offensive line. Will Johnson, right? Matt Miller, the new ESPN draft guru, kind of took over when Todd McShay got pushed out, came over from Bleacher Report. He said that late ranked Will Johnson's top cornerback coming back in his 2025 way early position rankings over Travis Hunter from Colorado. And I think people were kind of giving him grief. I think it was on Twitter. It was like, over Travis Hunter? Blah, is that possible? He's like, hey, it's not even close between those two. But you might be surprised to find out that Will Johnson, when I put out my way too early big board for 2025, all positions, all players, after this draft coming up in April, when it's kind of 2025s in the purview in front of us, Will Johnson might be his number 1 overall player, regardless of position, going into the 2025 NFL draft that will be playing in college football next year. And so I'm not sure if that's going to be a number 1 pick because it's a cornerback, but certainly I think it's a top 4 or 5 pick in that draft. Colston Loveland could be a top 20 pick. Mason Graham, a top 10 pick. Kenneth Grant, a top 10 pick. Rod Moore could end up being a first rounder if he really balls out and shows the athleticism that maybe he hasn't got to show off as much at that safety position. Michigan is losing a hell of a lot, right? They're losing a hell of a lot on offense and defense. Let's roll through that here for a second. J.J. McCarthy, Blake Corum. The Don's back, right? The Don's back. Roman Wilson leaves a year of eligibility. Cornelius Johnson used up all of his. A.J. Barner had a year of eligibility as left. He is gone. 6 offensive linemen left for the NFL. I think all of them are expected to get drafted, and maybe 1 or 2 won't. But I think any more first rounders because Zach Zinter got hurt. He could have been. But I think they're all, I think you'll see 1 or 2 in the 3rd, 4th round, maybe Zinter, maybe Keegan. And you'll see like Ladarius Henderson, Barnhart, Trente Jones. They'll probably be the guys who one of them will come off in the 5th, one will come off in the late 5th, another will come off in the late 6th or 7th. And you end up with 6 offensive linemen drafted. First time in NFL draft history that one program would have 6 offensive linemen drafted. Defensive lineman, though, I do expect Chris Jenkins to go in the first 3 rounds, right? That's a day 2 NFL draft pick. Braden McGregor, drafted in Detroit. Little vibe. Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, might do a little Michigan love, Michigan action. Wherever Mike McDonald ends up, right? He might draft some of these guys if he's a head coach somewhere. You could have a situation, Jack, where 1 out of every NFL team is either coached by a Harbaugh or a dual Harbaugh disciple, Mike McDonald, right? 3 out of 32. Chris Jenkins, Braden McGregor, Jalen Harrell. Now, both those guys left a year on the table, right? And I think they could have come back, but there's some talk that potentially, leaving was the best option because maybe Josiah Stewart and Derek Moore have made enough progress at the end of this year that they would have been the starters, maybe jumped over McGregor or Harrell next year at that edge defensive end position. Junior Colston left a year early. I think he's a 2nd-round draft pick, maybe 3rd. Michael Barrett, 6 years. Mike Sainristil. If Mike Sainristil lasts to the middle of the 2nd round, if he lasts past that 2nd Chargers pick, which I think is like number 39 or something like that, it's like 6th or 7th in the 2nd round. If Mike Sainristil gets past the Chargers at that pick, I will be disappointed in Jim Harbaugh. I will be disappointed in John Harbaugh and Mike McDonald, especially if he makes it through the entire 2 picks of all those guys. I'm not sure if first rounder, although I would take him as a first rounder late in the 1st round. But Mike Sainristil, number 2 best defensive player in program history in my consideration over the last 30 years. Josh Wallace, 1-year starter transferring over from UMass. Coming back, though, the Don, Rod Moore, Makari Page, those guys who could have gone pro that are coming back, and Josiah Stewart. So Stewart and Rod Moore, Derek Moore, I think is a very formidable Michigan's got starting-wise. one of the best defensive lines, if not the best in all of college football. And I think you could make an argument they've got the best secondary, or one of the 2 or 3 best secondaries in college football, depending on what comes with that second corner position. Keon Sabb, another 4th player there, contributing. 2 linebackers that'll be starters. 1, the transfer from Maryland, and then, of course, Ernest Hausman, who started as a true freshman in 2022 at Nebraska. The schedule is daunting, right? But not as daunting as we originally thought. But that Texas game on the 7th, the second game of the year, looks like a game Michigan probably will be an underdog in at home. Sherrone Moore, second game as head coach potentially. We don't know who the quarterback for Michigan is. They're bringing back Quinn Ewers. They're bringing back a bunch of talents on both sides of the ball. So he is a Heisman Trophy front runner, Quinn Ewers is, and I think because of that and the uncertainty, unless Alex Orji comes out and throws for 250 and runs for 100 in the first game against Fresno State, Michigan will be the underdog. And you got to kind of rely and hope that the defense shuts them down and Michigan can pull out maybe a 24-21 win at home against Texas. Arkansas State, USC. We don't know who the quarterback is. Well, I think it's whatever his name is, Max Miller or something like that. The guy who had 5 touchdowns or 6 touchdowns in the bowl game. Their backup quarterback, the guy who was supposed to be their starting quarterback, Malachi Nelson, transferred to Boise State. Right, he was the top 3 or 4 quarterback in this freshman class this year. Minnesota at home, so you got 5 home games to start the year. Then you go on the road, national championship game rematch at Washington. I might go to that game. I'm definitely going to the Texas game. My son, we live in Texas. He's the only Michigan fan in his school, and so he wants to go to the Texas game. So we're going to go to the Texas game. He went to Michigan, Alabama for the Rose Bowl. Bye week, that's at Illinois, home versus Michigan State. I think those are wins, right? Oregon will be the second toughest game, maybe first toughest game of the year. I think Oregon, for me, outside Georgia and Ohio State, who I think are going to be consensus 1-2 now based on what Ohio State brought back and got in the transfer portal, I think Oregon, in my opinion, is my number 3 team to most likely win the national championship. I think is a kind of a haves and have-nots. It's Ohio State, Georgia. I think Oregon's number 3 right there, along with Alabama. Depending on how things shake out there, I think Alabama still is kind of in that realm. Ole Miss, at least for me. And there's a small notch down because of the quarterbacks coming back of Michigan. I think right there is like the number 7 team, maybe number 8 team. You've got Notre Dame, you've got Penn State, transfer quarterback from Notre Dame, Penn State returning Drew Aller. I'm not sure that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I think USC is beatable for next year for Michigan. I think Washington's beatable next year for Michigan. Washington's got Will Rogers come back. I'm not sure if I'm too afraid of him. That'll be a big game at the Big House. But go back really quick if you can, Jack, to the first one. I'm just going to count up the good games at the Big House because I think it's one of the greatest schedules of all time. You got Texas at home. You got US. So let's just count top 20 programs in college football over the last 50 years. How many are at home next year? Texas, USC, okay, keep going. Washington the road, so now it's a top 50 your top 20 program, Washington, right? So that's on the road. Then you've got Oregon. So you got 3 of your first 9 games are against top 20 programs in college football, right? And you can even say 2 blue bloods and 2 next blue bloods, 1 next blue blood in Oregon. Then keep it rolling here. And that's it, right? So 3 home games. You've also got Michigan State in there. You've also got Minnesota in there, in addition to the Arkansas States of the world. So one of the great home schedules in Michigan football history. Doesn't have Ohio State, but Ohio State, Washington. So you've got the Buckeyes and Washington, 2 teams that end of the year in the top 10. We're right there going into the bowl season. We're both top 5, top 6 teams on the away schedule next year. So Ward Manuel has put out a statement. We'll read it for you here on the show. What in the world? Oh, so Michigan football literally the official Michigan football account screenshotted an email. It's an email that they press. So let me read it. I gotta get my eyes. So I'm going to read you Ward Manuel, maternity ward. I'm going to read you his statement. So bear with me as I lean over a little bit here. I want to thank Jim for everything he has done for the program, athletic department, and the University of Michigan over the past 9 years. Every day, he's worked hard, yada, yada. Jim did exactly what we sought to do with the University of Michigan. Okay. We've been discussing a new contract and would make Jim Harbaugh the highest paid coach in college football. In the end, he wanted to explore and ultimately decided to pursue a return to coaching the NFL. Seems like Ward Manuel is trying to do a little, CYA, cover his own ass, right? Jim's always been extremely upfront with his communication regarding NFL opportunities and has been helpful with this transition in leadership. We had a great conversation tonight, and he informed me of this decision to return to the NFL and offered assistance in helping identify the needs of the program moving forward. We're working quickly to hire the next head coach for the program, and we'll do everything possible to keep this current staff and team together. We appreciate Jim's dedication and passion for Michigan, the university, and Ann Arbor. I wish Jim and the entire Harbaugh family much success with the Los Angeles Chargers. What do you mean Harbaugh family? You mean Jay Harbaugh too? Woo! Your brother, your older brother, Jay Harbaugh. Hey, thank you for your family, for everything you've done for the program, Jack. Funny moment in Houston. One of our viewers. So nice guy. We had a lot of fun with him. Thanks, Jack, for everything that his family, the Harbaugh family, had done for the University of Michigan. Obviously, we had to break it to him that Young Harbaugh is just a nickname because of his stature on the show, Young Harbaugh, and then of course that kind of resembles Jim Harbaugh, especially when he wears the thick rim glasses and all that good stuff. So predict Michigan's record next year. I'm going 10-2 at this point. I'm just going to go 10-2. I said 11-2 a couple years ago. I'm sorry, I said 7-5 in 2021. I was wrong. I said 11-1 the last 2 years, although I was kind of hedging my bets, I think. No, did I say 12-0 this year? I can't remember. It was pretty accurate. This year, no way. No way I would say that this year. I was Houston or bust. Houston or bust. This year, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think I said 11-1 last year in 2022. Yeah, undefeated. Oh, 10-2. Okay, that's okay. That's sorry. Yeah, so 10-2 is where I'm going now. Yeah, I mean, a lot of things can happen here, right? We don't know what Alex Orji's. Michigan can go a run-heavy offense. They could run the Penn State second-half offense the entire year, right? Throw 7 times an entire game, 8 times an entire game. Santa Ono makes a Pete Thamel. Jack, do you might not know this, but no, he blocked me on Twitter because I was in his replies during I'll just switch accounts to the company account. I don't have any burners, no burners. Company account says offensive coordinator and part-time interim coach Sherrone Moore is the favorite to replace Jim Harbaugh. Yeah, thanks, Thamilto. Other names: Lance Leipold, Chris. Like this is the laziest tweet of all time. Matt Rule, Luke Fickell. Come on. Main people that haven't won national titles that don't coach for Georgia, Ohio State, or Alabama that have been hot candidates in the past. Yeah, Matt Camp. He won a couple games last year. Oh gosh. Yeah, let me read this tweet from Santa Ono. We've been in talks with Jim Harbaugh for the past several weeks, trying to retain him as a football coach. Jim called me today, let me know he's made a difficult decision to leave and join the Los Angeles Chargers in pursuit of NFL dreams. Blah, 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 blah. We're sad to hear. Driving ambition. I thank Jim for all he's done for the University of Michigan and respect his decision. He's been an extraordinary leader and friend. I'll be cheering for Jim as he remarks on this next adventure. I will be too. Let's put that question up. Will you root for Jim Harbaugh in the NFL? Will you root for him? I'm a Chargers fan now, Jack. I'm a Chargers fan. I'm getting a Chargers hat. I'm a Chargers fan because he won a national title, right? This to me seems no different than J.J. McCarthy, right? I vote for J.J. McCarthy next year too, right? I think I get like when Ohio State fans, they're all on the Texans right now, right? Because they got a quarterback that's finally good. And I've been like that. I mean, a lot of Michigan fans over the years were Tom Brady fans, were Patriots fans. I will be whatever team, maybe not as big of a fan, but I will root for whatever team drafts J.J. McCarthy. I'll root for whatever team drafts Blake Corum. I'll root for whatever team drafts Mike Sainristil. And I'm a Chargers fan. I am a Chargers fan. I thank Jim Harbaugh for this. White Barn says Luke Fickell. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Luke Fickell, I don't know. I mean, I think it was a weird job taking Wisconsin. I thought he was going to hold out that long, made the playoff. He should have held out for a Michigan, Ohio State, a Penn State, and Alabama. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to make the argument, wouldn't you root more, at least in my opinion, root more for the team that drafts JJ than the Chargers? And my reason for that being, JJ wasn't going to be at Michigan forever. You know, he runs out of eligibility and then he goes to the NFL. Whereas Jim, he could have stayed at Michigan for as long as he wanted, and he decided to go to the NFL. Like, I understand going to the NFL, but like in my opinion, I will be rooting more for the team that JJ's on because I want JJ to be successful and prove all the haters wrong.
And losers,
of which there are many, instead of rooting for, like, I'll hope that Jim does well on the Chargers, but I want to see JJ be successful on whatever teams he's on. That's at least how I feel about it.
Our gal Doreen says the Giants will draft JJ. Now, we had a tweet, Justin Spiro from he's a journalist, entertainer, Michigan State guy. They called him we met him in Houston. He says people tell him that he is the James Yoder of Michigan State, and I guess that makes me the Justin Spiro of Michigan. But he said there's a really good source on it that through back channels, J.J. McCarthy, had people. I'm sure it was Jim Harbaugh's, intermediaries reach out to a few NFL teams, and the Giants and Raiders actually came back and said they drafted him as an absolute first-round pick. Now, whether they draft him or not, Giants probably more likely because they're a little later. I think Raiders top 10 pick. Giants in that mid-teens area. So maybe. Oh really? Oh wow! For some reason I thought they had a better year than that. Okay. Well, there you go. Josh says I'm buying a JJ jersey for whatever team as long as it is in the Titans. I can agree with you there. I hope JJ actually goes to a team. Let me throw this out here for a second. Throw this out here. Bear with me for a second. Bear with me. Andy here. It can be well received. How about the Rams? I'm guessing. I don't know where they're drafting. I'm guessing because they made the playoffs. The picks by 21, 22. Okay. Matthew Stafford going to his age 36 season this year. Turned 36 in this next football calendar year. The same age Aaron Rodgers was 3 years ago when they drafted Jordan Love. He sat the bench for 3 years. I don't want JJ to sit the bench for 3 years, but 1 or 2 wouldn't be the worst thing. Sean McVay's got the next guy to come up after Stafford. Where's the pick?
They have the number 19 overall pick, and that could be where JJ goes, honestly.
It's number what pick?
19.
Yeah, yeah, that's right there. So Rams. Keep an eye out for the Rams. Keep an eye out for the Rams. How about this one? The Renaissance Worldwide says, I can tell you as a Buckeye, this is a sad day. You want to see a picture of a sad day? Look up Ryan Day crying. That's a sad day. That's a sad day. But I respect this comment, so I want to read it. So made a little joke there. Bear with me, though. Sad for my respected rival and its program. The mess Harbaugh is running from is this BS. I don't agree with that part. He should be a man, take his lick with the team. So sad day if you think that Harbaugh is leaving. Maybe you're thinking, it's not going to be as big of a deal, these two programs. Sherrone Moore and Ryan Day certainly doesn't have the cachet as Jim Harbaugh and Urban Meyer did, right? Or even Jim Harbaugh and Ryan Day as he established himself. But the second part, I think people are stupid. I think people, I'm not calling you stupid in particular, people are stupid. And this comment, I think, is a little misguided. I don't think there's going to be sanctions coming down for Michigan. I don't think there was going to be if Jim Harbaugh did. And the whole thing, I don't know if you remember, Jack, you're probably too young, but in 2010, end of 2010 season, Jim Tressel got in trouble. They suspended him. He couldn't coach the bowl game and all this different stuff. They suspended him for 5 games to start the next year. And then he ultimately got fired, right? Because email, FOIA requests, et cetera, that he had some knowledge. It's kind of what I said Harbaugh. You might find someday that Harbaugh was copied on an email or a text thread with 30 other people that had Stallions links in it or something like that, so he could be fired for cause. They found the thing that Tressel knew, he would email, et cetera, about the tattoos and all this different stuff, so he eventually got fired. And so if you were to go take a job in the NFL as, let's say, a defensive coordinator or a linebackers coach, secondary coach, the NFL was going to make him sit out. How stupid is that, right? They made Terrell Pryor do it too. Pryor went in the supplemental draft because he was going to come back for his senior year at Ohio State. Went supplemental draft rather than sit out 5 games. They made him sit out 5 games in the NFL, which is maybe the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. But that's what remember the tweet from Schefter a couple months ago, the NFL would hold him to the same thing. So Harbaugh's not running from everything. If there's going to be sanctions, clearly the NFL would do the same thing. I don't think there's going to be any sanctions. What about you, Jack?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think the NFL would do that. I think if you're Goodell. And I hate Goodell as a Patriot fan. I despise that man, with a burning passion. But if you're Goodell, you want Harbaugh on the sideline.
Yeah.
Because he was the hottest name in college football, and you get him in your league now. Going up against Andy Reid, Antonio Pierce now, Sean Payton in the same division. Mm-hmm. You want Harbaugh on the sideline. They're not going to do anything in the NFL.
Think about this. You've got a two Super Bowl winning coach in Andy Reid. You've got a national championship coach in Jim Harbaugh, who's also been into a Super Bowl. You got a Super Bowl winning coach in Sean Payton in the AFC West, and then Antonio Pierce for the Raiders. Womp womp.
I'm not going to take any Antonio Pierce slander because he was an Arizona State coach before he ended up on the Raiders. But I understand what you're saying. Though one of these is not like the other.
One of these is not like the other. There it is. So that's that, Jake. I think that's it for the show tonight. I think we've given the people as much as we can give on this topic. I think I need to, collect my thoughts here going forward, and we're gonna be back with you tomorrow. Jack's off tomorrow, so Jack, you kind of lucked out. I hope you didn't have any Wednesday night plans. Jack's off for the next 4 days: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Back into work Monday. What do you got planned for the people, Jack? Tell them.
My mom, who's watching, shout out. We're doing at-home Sundance Film Festival. So if you want, I'm going to be doing reviews on my Twitter. If you want to check it out, I'll
toss the link in
yeah,
there.
I'll link my Twitter. If you want to check it out, I'll be doing reviews of all the hot new.
On your main at Jack Louderay?
Yeah, I'm
I
throwing
got
it in
you.
right
I
now.
got you.
If you want any reviews on the hot new indie films that are going to come out in the next
Whoa,
next
Wyatt
year.
Barnes, funny Wyatt, because
Yeah.
the jokes made around the office sometimes. Like
I've heard that
oh,
before.
James working tomorrow, Brett's working tomorrow, Jack's off.
Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time I've heard that one.
All right. James working, Brett working, Jack. Oh, okay, sorry, Jack. Okay, I know you don't like it.
Yeah, so if you yeah, I don't know, I'm flustered now. If you want any movie reviews from the Sundance Film Festival, hit me up on Twitter. And if you ever need a movie rec, I've been told I'm undefeated on movie recs.
Undefeated.
So.
Well, except for that one movie.
Well, did you ask for a movie rec though, and then I give it to you?
No, you wrote it like an 83, and it was the worst movie I've ever seen. I can't remember the name of it. What was that?
I don't remember.
It was just terrible.
Legitimately,
right?
I don't remember.
It was terrible.
But anytime someone's asked me for a movie rec, they've told me I've nailed it. So if you want a movie rec, DM me.
This Vic Fangio thing is gonna be interesting because NFL head coach with the Broncos, right? All the defense coordinator, the Bears, in some of their best years, in like 2016, 2017, came back to the Dolphins. I didn't think they had that bad of a defense. Maybe they did. I don't know. I thought there was exciting.
No, they didn't. That was a weird firing. Like it should not have happened. Like, did something else happen behind the scenes? We don't know. Like, that's a weird firing.
Like, he's somebody that I think Harbaugh's definitely got a decision making. Maybe this is all coordinated plan, but like if Jesse Minter says, hey, I don't want to go. I'm an LA guy. I'm going to go to Baltimore. Or I'm going to go to another team that's looking for a defense coordinator, the Eagles, right? That he almost got the job last year. Or stay at Michigan. Vic Fangio, Harbaugh's defensive coordinator with the 49ers, back in the market, fired tape by the Dolphins. So that's interesting. Also, Mike McDonald, like this Harbaugh, it's a very incestuous kind of setup. Like Mike McDonald takes an NFL head coaching job. Minter could go there, but I think John Harbaugh will say, oh, well, Vic Fangio, right? He's in the circle of trust there. So I think this thing just opened up a little bit more in figuring out what's going to happen. So we'll be on top of it. Anything that happens overnight, late tonight that we come across, I've got sources of different things. I'll try and put out either a video from home or maybe a YouTube short, Twitter video. So follow me. It's at James Yoder. Put mine on there if you can, the screen, Jack. Follow me on Twitter. I'll put mine there in the comments in the live chat as well. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Where is it? Still says behind the scenes from Houston all weekend, so I got to change that really quick. Whoops. I got to change that really quick. I got it. Whoop. There you go. There's my Twitter account. So that's kind of the first place I'll start tweeting things out. And then, videos take time to put together. So we'll have something for you tomorrow. Absolutely. Probably have something for you on Friday through the weekend. Jack will be not working Thursday through Sunday, but good thing that you didn't have to come in your day after this live show, Jack. But you would have.
Well, I did Slack you. Well, I told you in person. I said, I'm going to be off these 4 days, but if it happens, I will be here.
I'll be here. That's why we call me Young Harbaugh. Jack Louderay, best of his. Follow him on Twitter at Jack_Louderay. We put that in there. Thank you so much to everyone who was watching. Joshua Layfield, I see you. Dave Moody, CC, Kenneth Brescia, Sean Paul, Thomas Crawford, thank you so much for the super chats. Ashley Lawson as well for the super chats, and everybody else who did. Zaire, I see you as well. Let's give a couple more shout outs. Dennis Wilhelm, of course, Doreen, Ohio State fan Doreen, but she was live. She's happening in the live chat, and many others. Love everyone who's supported the show, and just because Jim Harbaugh's gone, this show will continue on. Although, hey, might start doing some Charger show. You never know. Give me some hearts. Click that heart. See people click that heart button in the live chat as well. It has been the Michigan Football Report. Jim Harbaugh off to the Chargers. A lot of things can happen. This could be the most exciting offseason. Well, maybe not exciting. Eventful offseason in Michigan football. Probably since the last time Michigan hired a coach, which was in late 2014, and obviously into the spring of 2015 when Jim Harbaugh took over for Brady Hoke. For Jack Louderay, I'm James Yoder. You're watching the Michigan Football Report. Until I see you next time, go Blue.